Hello, hello. Let's turn off the freebird. This will go on for literally 7 minutes if I allow it to. Sorry, Gator. Sorry, Gator. I know that the intended and I'll talk about all that shit in a second, but I know the intended effect of that to traumatize Gator, but it has traumatized me. Now I will always associate Lynyrd, Skynyrd, and Freebird, not with GTA San Andreas, the first exposure I had to it, but instead to a methed up British man screaming at his microphone like a fucking lunatic. And so, geez, there's a lot to kind of touch on. Most of it is little tidbits. And then there is the hack, which I'm sure almost everybody's already informed on because it has, I think it happened like, I want to say like the Sunday after I did my last stream, and it's been like circulated around and talked about all this time. So I am the last person who really gets to offer commentary on it at all. But I suppose now is the time, isn't it? So I will go through the early stuff first, and kind of in the middle, I'll be talking about the hack, and then some Ralph stuff. Mostly, not even really Ralph stuff. It's mostly May stuff. May, the main character of the kill stream at this point in time. So let's take that, put that up, and let's just. I don't think there's any updates. Some people asked about my gardening. The gardening stuff is coming. I've germinated the seeds, and I'm now waiting to plant them. All right, so let's start with some good news. There is a group of people on the forum who I'm not guiding or participating in any way. I legitimately do not have the fucking time to involve myself in these little things. These little pods. The forum is too big, and there's so much going on that I really have time to pay attention to anything of importance at this point. But there's a group of people who are very dedicated to identifying animal abusers in the Million Pity thread, and they have had some recent accomplishments, one of which is particularly funny. So I'll give props to whoever these people are. I really don't know. But in this one, this guy, his screen name is Nico Bellic, and he goes out and he says, after some doxes drop on the forum of animal abusers on their Telegram, he said, everybody, Karens, referring to the Kiwi Farms, think they've got a, you know what, that's a weird thing. Who calls us Karens besides Dick Masterson and the people who literally torture animals for sexual arousal? Those are the only people. Everybody, Karens think they got a one-up on me. Where are our hackers? Why aren't they retaliating? I know damn well we got a hacker in this community. You want to make good money? Contact me. So he's asking for some backup. We need some Wagner units here on the front line of the monkey torture scene to bring down the Karen farms, burn down the barns of the Karen farms, as a retarded man and his sexually confused pet once sang together for the amusement of Dick Masterson. Nico Bellic joins the Kiwi Farms under the very distinct nickname Nick D9393, which I assume that means he's a 29-year-old. Says, "Hey, I gotta give the spokesperson who exposed me. You're fucking hilarious. Another thing, a little bit of your findings are inaccurate. Another thing, I'm a lot of things, but a pedo is not one of them. All I'm trying to do is profit somewhere somebody else is going to fill the void no matter what. It could be Allet worse. Have a good one. You guys will never stop, nor will you understand. Listen, I made my decision as a man, knowing it's damn near selling my soul, but let that be for my to comment on. Nobody said this was right, but shit. You guys go ahead and let me take a look and investigate you. You can sit and act like you're some type of saint, knowing you're not. You guys honestly are barking up the wrong tree because I could really give a fuck less." So this guy literally tortures animals, not even because he's aroused by it, but because it makes pennies being sold online to like pedophile sadists who are aroused by it. And I honestly, I never really stopped and thought, is there anything lower than a pedophile? But I think if you carry water for a pedophile for like a pittance, that's probably worse. I think it's genuinely worse to be complicit in it just for like a little bit of money. It is the craziest shit. That's a real moral quandary. I suppose at that point, it's like comparing 1 million to 1,000,005, you know? Like, yeah, I guess in some ways it could technically be considered worse, but the margin here is so small in terms of the shit scale. You're just kind of like, well, you just call it even. Call it fair. After this, of course, people looked up the nickname NickD9393, and they found out that he has a friend finder, a hookup profile, looking for love, sex, heart emoji, tongue out emoji. He says he prefers not to talk about his sexual natures, but also that he's looking for women, trans, or couples, male and female. So he's a tranny fucker. You wonder what kind of people are fucking trannies out there. That's fucking gross. People who torture monkeys for money. That is in the category of people who fuck trannies. Isn't that just bizarre? Someone attached this nice clip here that I think I'll play for everybody for their enjoyment.
That's so gay. Homo, you faggot. So you're a queer, aren't you? Fag, queer, faggot.
That's the best one. The big guy at the end. He is fucking angry. Faggot! He is into it. Everybody else, they're like, okay, you have to say this really bad word, but you don't try to look like a bully when you do it. That guy is not acting. He ain't pretending. He means it when he says it. All right, it's your animal torture thing for the episode. We're gonna move past it real fast. I front loaded it so we can squeeze on by. This was brought to my attention as the Weeb War 2.0. I don't know if this is Weeb War or Tranimegate or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but a game developer responsible, background and creature artist of the Silent Hill series, retweeted some stuff in Japanese from Matt Walsh talking to that British guy, I think. Oh no, that's just a troon. Oh, he's on Dr. Phil, I'm sorry. So he's talking to a troon on Dr. Phil, and he's doing his whole, like, women are women, men are men shtick, which pisses people off. And he agrees with this, and he says in the Japanese language, a lot of people are using women just sort of as, like, a neutral term now. At least that's the gist that I've understood. And I said, I don't really agree with that. We should use women for women. And that has pissed off a lot of people. So this is Masahiro Ito, the background and creature artist for the Silent Hill series, on the cusp of a new Silent Hill game, nonetheless. Saying some things which are angering people. I like this quote the most. He says, some Westerners still are attacking me, so I am Brock all of them. And so he has. He says, he says that he's not a transphobia, but he says, please never follow me again, Lamau. And these are some troon reprise. Saying, prostate puncher at death reveals, says Masahiro Ito retweeting transphobic stuff, then trying to say, you Westerners just don't get it. Great. Matt Geralt, Hairseens Wolf, says, Masahiro Ito being a transphobe was not on my 2023 bingo card, but I guess we can't ever have nice things. Masahiro Ito retweeting transphobia is pretty disappointing. Masahiro Ito almost coming out as a bigot because he retweets threads like a fucking idiot is not what I was expecting today. From Nate Trevelyan. From Trevelyan May Cry. It's so funny. Look, okay, I hate fucking anime people, and I hate Japan as a whole. But there is something so deeply cathartic to see the troons and the people of gender seeing things that they like ruined by an ideology that they find distasteful. It's like it's never happened before. And now I'm seeing all the tranime people being like, oh my God, my favorite cartoon character or cartoon designer is a transphobe. It so upsets me. It's like, wow. Man, that's like the time that something I liked was turned gay and black for no apparent fucking reason. That's really awesome. That's really agreeable. I like that a lot. So good on. I feel some release. Masahiro Ito retweeting gross transphobia pyramid head belongs to trans people now bite me. Oh, he doesn't know how to use a comma. He's trying to say pyramid head now belongs to trans people now bite me. I've never played Silent Hill, but I have seen a lot of clips because Silent Hill 2 is like one of the most famous and popular games ever, especially in the horror genre. I'm pretty sure that when Pyramid Head is tricked, he takes out a giant wooden spike and stabs himself through the heart Am I like misremembering that? Doesn't he kill himself when he gets tricked, when he gets bamboozled enough? Is this why the trans people get to claim them as their own? I don't know anything about this. That's just what I remember in my head. Maybe I'm wrong. That's what springs to mind from the trans music well in the back of my head. He's also a grapist, someone says in chat. Oh, well, the stars are just aligning here. Squidge says, wake up. See Masahiro Ito, artist for Silent Hill, retweeting Matt Walsh, transphobia. Go back to bed. Masahiro Ito, Andrea, love, let's golf, lesbian, let's golf. Feo Ultima says, doesn't Feo mean ugly? He's the ultimate ugly that is into lesbians. That's a true one for sure. Masahiro Ito, Silent Hill monster designer, retweets a translation of Walsh's bioessentialist. Oh, that's a great word. That's a great word I'm happy to adopt. Bioessentialism. Yes, you are what you are. You cannot change that. Don't fucking cry about it. Get over it. Bioessentialist transphobic nonsense that defines trans women as offensive dress up and then blames Westerners for calling him out on it by suggesting they don't understand Japanese. Of course. Cry about it, Riddle boy. Cry. Also on the True and L's, this is up for some debate. Desmond is amazing, the famous little boy who was indoctrinated into the cult of gender at like the age of 6, and then started twerking and dress up in front of like grown men, has retired his persona, Desmond. It's actually not a famous, like I had to really dig to find this article from the Los Angeles Blade. And by this guy of a very questionable phenotype who writes for the LGBT is an LGBT columnist. That phenotype is the most suspect phenotype I've ever seen in my entire life. And unfortunately, he's not famous enough to actually figure out what the fuck he is. But he just says in one line that they're retiring the Desmond alter ego. And it makes me, people in the thread immediately suggested he's like, I don't know how old he is now. He started at age 8. And I think he's probably in his mid-teens now. And I bet you it's just, he's too old. They want a little boy. They don't want like a teenager. They don't want like a boy who's hit puberty. They want like a little boy. So now he's hit a pedophile twink death, I guess. And the drag people are done with him. So he has to find something else to do, some new grift to make ends meet. He's been graduated to borrow a term. sorry kid, you're 13 now, time to graduate. The thing is, I really hope that he's just like, yeah, I regret this shit. He's out of here. I want to change my name and disappear, but I don't know. You can't unmolest yourself, kid. It sucks to say. It's the same thing that happened to Milo. Maybe he can make a career in blackmail. Hey, that's a great idea. He kind of has that Milo look to him, too. I wonder if he's like half Greek, half Jewish. He is Jewish, isn't he? Am I misremembering that as well? I must be. I've been listening to German music today. I must have lost my mind. I'm seeing phenotypes everywhere right now. So that's that. Also, a little update. I talked about how Jack Scalfani had a double-sided stroke. He's still in hospice, recovering. He has not been released to his home yet because he can't stand. So he is paralyzed. I don't know from where down, but he cannot use his legs. And it's unknown if he's going to recover. Obviously, with health conditions, you can never be 100% certain. But I think a lot of people said that it's possible he will recover. Or even probable that he will recover. It's hard to say. He looks really bad, though. Like, my dude needs to take care of himself because that fucking macaroni cheese stuff macaroni jello concoctions he's been eating is putting him into an early grave. Time for some hospital food recipes, y'all. Oh yeah, this is great. I learned this from my from the woman who lives next door to me. She's there because she's morbidly obese. Never trust a skinny cook. Am I right? So we hope. I mean I don't have anything against Jack Scalfani. I know he's one of those people that people like get really A-loggy about. And it's like he beats his son Bart Simpson style. But I can't foster any animus towards him. I hope he does well. Hope he comes back and makes a big bowl of Wanda's macaroni salad. Wanda's macaroni salad is from the other lady. the really, really fat lady, the Aunt Myrna's something. What was it? Aunt Myrna's. Yeah, Simply Sarah. Simply Sarah was the one with the Wanda macaroni salad. Aunt Myrna was the thing that Jack Scalfani made. Cheese salad. That's it. Easy mistake to make. I'm only off by 3,000 calories, but in my head it's very similar. Also very suspiciously timed, and for an update, I mentioned AVGN, and I mentioned that his company is Screenwave. I mentioned how Matt Matai parted ways, and his videos have been in decline ever since. One of the things that Screenwave produced was a podcast, which they retired in January of this year. And they have like a little writer's room that are lovingly referred to by the Cinemassacre truthers as the slobs. And 2 of the 3 slobs have parted ways. And just this week, a guy called Kieran has also retired. Now, the AVGN hate fandom is a very small place, so there's not too much going on here. I tried to find the clip. Unfortunately, I'm getting an error 5,000 on Twitch, so I couldn't archive it. But Kieran announced on like his personal Twitch channel that he's parting ways with Screenwave because he's not making any money. Like he's not even making enough money to pay his rent at all. So of the 3 slobs, only a man named Silverman is left with the Cinemassacre Screenwave group. So I don't know what's going on with James. I mean, based on his book, I've actually, hold up. I will, let me just play this so I can. Ooh, do I have it? Do I have this to just play it off the cuff like this? Where the fuck did I put this at? Wait, is this it? No, this is just the actual file. What a pain in the ass. I have bought James Ralph's book and the audiobook.
This is Audible.
Yet I was out the window when the teacher wasn't looking.
I'm listening to it. I'm going through it. It's 4 chapters, but they're in many sub-chapters each. So I'm on the first chapter still, and I'm listening to it. And I'm taking notes. And I'm literally, I have the Kindle desktop edition. I'm listening to it, and when I hear something, I'll go back and I'll make a note in the actual book as to the lines and the time code that I listened it to. So if I come up with something really funny, I might put together like a little something, either for the Gumroad or, just a little something. Because if anything in that book is as funny as the special ed tart out, it's worth. I mean, that alone is worth talking about. But I already did that, so I'm trying to find something else special. I'm in the mines, digging away, trying to find something worth talking about. But I'm now officially paying attention to AVG and stuff. It's just sort of weird to realize that this thing that I've taken for granted as like this unchanging pillar of internet culture, one of the first things that's ever been successful strictly due to internet fame alone, is like rotten and crumbling. And there's all this like cloak and dagger that's going on. I find it fascinating, which is a bad sign. Notice that I start paying attention to it, and the very next week someone quits. I always feel like it's like with quantum physics. You can't ever observe a particle because the act of observing a particle causes that particle to change. So you can only make like rough approximations of what subatomic particles are doing. It feels like that. It feels like as I look at something, entropy is added into it, and it changes just as a result of me looking at something. It's a very strange feeling. It could have something to do with the fact that when I stream, thousands of people watch it, and I'm not entirely adjusted to that fact yet. Like, I'll say something just offhandedly. I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I heard about this, and I don't have a full opinion yet, but this is like my first impression." It will like be clipped out by somebody and then packaged and sent to that person. And then it'll be dressed up. "Did you know Null of Kiwi Farms said this about you?" And then that person will be like, "Oh my God, not Kiwi Farms. The owner himself is thinking about me." and then he'll react to it and like spaz out, like that guy who hugged his Chinese wife after he beat something in like GoldenEye 64, and I bullied him, and he had like this huge long community post crying about it and deleted his like magnum opus of speedrunning that he worked years for, like off YouTube. I'm just thinking, like, I wasn't trying to do all that now. I was just trying to make light of this thing that I thought was really funny. I wasn't trying to destroy your marriage and your confidence and your hobby or anything. It's very strange to me, and it harkens back to one of the core problems of the forum, is that when it was young, it was just a little thing where people could get away with a lot more, and everything was kind of flexible and chill and stuff. And then as it got bigger, the very act of like making a thread and talking about somebody would cause them to change or hide or do something different. It's just, it kind of sucks. But I really sat down and I thought about it. And I thought, like, well, what can I do to stem this reaction? And one of the things that it was suggested is, why not have like a secret forum that's not public? But then the issue is that you empower people to fuck with the forum itself. You have a secret forum where things are good briefly, with trusted people to, you know, look at the threads you don't want to get fucked with. But then somebody gets into that circle and they start deliberately fucking with it because you know that's what they know that's what you're trying to prevent, and it's just a mess. So the best way to deal with it is just to keep everything out in the public and let things happen as they may. And it's the same with the podcast. It's like, you know, I have a lot more listeners now, so I have to be careful not only of what I say, because I don't want people to take me seriously when I say something that is just a joke, and especially when it comes to like politics and stuff, or like personal ideology. But it's also the same with like locales. I have to be careful. I talked about something and then it definitely gets clipped. It definitely gets sent to that person, and that person reacts, and it can be like a mess where it's just like, I'm just trying to have fun. So I'm burdened. I'm burdened by you people. Thank you, though. I love you. One man who refuses to change, however, is King Cobra JFS. He has received a special gift from a special friend, an air duster. What do you think he does with it?
Enjoy your gift. Enjoy the duster. You can a sweet high from it. From KC. I'm sure you can, but I'll use it for my computer. And it makes you fucking sad. It does. It makes my trolls beyond fucking sad.
In case you're wondering, I believe that the high you get from air dusters is suffocation. Like, it knocks the oxygen out of your lungs, and you're not actually getting a chemical stimulation. You're suffocating yourself, and it's like it's causing you to like pass out or something. So it's really dangerous. You can properly kill yourself with that shit. Oh, I'm walking on sunshine. Yeah, that's the best. That was the best. Oh my god, Intervention was such a great show. Talk about white trash TLC shows that I loved. Intervention was up there as one of the best. Walking on Sunshine was... I'm sorry. Like, drug abuse is not funny. It's really sad to see someone get fucked up and ruin their whole life. But when the high is, like, followed by the sound of an aerosol spray can, like a duster, it's just comic. It's just really funny. It's a very silly sound. It's like a clown filling up a balloon or something, but instead of a clown filling up a balloon, it's a young woman killing herself very slowly with an aerosol spray. It's kind of fucked up if you think about it. The walking... Okay.
This program contains subject matter and language that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
She just inhales the whole thing in her mouth.
Like I'm walking on sunshine.
good.
It's like I'm walking on sunshine.
14 years ago, 2009. Oh, loud. Oh, loud. I was 20. I was even younger than 20. I was 17 when this came out. Ah, jeez, dude. Ah, jeez. That'll be Cobes soon. Hopefully not. I'm rooting for my boy Cobes. Okay, Destiny. You know what's funny is I had that talk with Destiny, and he didn't even clip it for his channel. Like, he didn't want to have me on his channel, so he just, like, I think he completely removed any indication that we've ever talked and hit it. Oh my god. Chat. A bald spot on my beard has grown in. What does this mean? How has this happened? I've had this bald spot on my beard on the underside of my jaw my entire life, and now it's filled in completely with hair. How? Am I hallucinating? I can't. I'm getting old. Oh no. Oh no, I've outed myself as being old. I can't. Oh no. Oh jeez. Okay, so Destiny has Destiny did an OG liberal thing. One of the best things about the commenter, he's a Jewish guy. I think he's on HBO. Bill Maher. I've always liked Bill Maher the most of all the other like liberal talking heads because he's always consistently pointed out that Islam is shit. And in true blue fashion, by the way, Bill Maher gets a lot of shit for that position, but he stands by it. But that's just because he's like such a mega fedora tipper that he hates all religion, but he maintains, like, a lot of people will be like, Christianity's so stupid. Christianity's so stupid. I can't believe our country is run by the theocrat fascists that think the Jew on the stick is like a real thing. It's so made up. And then like, mashallah, Allah is the one true God, and Prophet Muhammad is his prophet. And mashallah, inshallah. And we don't want to offend all of our Muslim friends from the Middle East, all the refugees. Ooh. Oh, by the way, someone paid me $4,000 in Bitcoin to say uwu on stream. So I've just reminded myself to do that on accident by using it organically. All the poor refugees, uwu. And Destiny is more Bill Maher aligned, where his fedora is stronger than his refugee, innocent small bean uwu protection mode. So he comes out here and he says, mate, you're the one with Tate's dick lodged, Suleiman Ahmed says, this is why you can never trust liberals. You are at the bottom of their hierarchy. They will attack and disown you based on their own agenda. Destiny is too afraid to do this with other communities as he knows he will be canceled. Destiny replies saying, mate, you are the one with Tate's dick lodged firmly down your throat as you tell a lie after lie on public and private shows to exonerate your new Islab Muslim. I made fun of all kinds of communities online, and you have zero idea who you are talking to. Abu Hafsa says, Christians, the amount of disrespect towards Jesus you're letting slide is pretty messed up. No wonder your community is flocking to Islam. Destiny replies saying, yeah, we should be more like Muslims online and threaten to attack them in real life when they make fun of our prophet. And then he posts this little 3D resolution of the Prophet Muhammad with 9-year-old, I assume, 9-year-old Aisha. And then Enes the pig from, don't correct me, Argentina. Sorry, okay, so I got distracted by the flag. Now, listen up. I see a lot of people laughing at this in chat. I want to remind all of you right now that if you are laughing at this from the EU, you are committing ein Hasspostings. Das ist verboten. Cease immediately. And I cite ES versus Austria 2018, where the Court of Human Rights in the EU upheld an Austrian court's decision that calling the Prophet Muhammad a pedophile is Hasspostings and verboten and can carry a jail sentence. So all of you people saying that the Prophet Muhammad is a pedophile, you are actually in violation of Austrian probably also German and EU hate speech laws in general. Very, very bad. I cannot believe all this crime happening. We have to protect our free and open societies by arresting people who make fun of an absurd foreign religion that was chaired by a warlord pedophile. At all costs. So they don't shoot up any churches. Now, lots of back and forth. He doubles down. Destiny's a contrarian, so he posts more and more shit and gets all these Islams angry at him. Apparently, he's getting death threats. Muslim Twigger is woken up like a fucking zombie horde in Left 4 Dead and are sending him all sorts of shit, making fun of him because why not? That's all fine and dandy. However, at the same time, Destiny went on this, I don't even know if you would call it debate. I haven't watched the original. I just have this clip. I actually don't have the context. So when I play this, keep in mind, there's maybe a context, which is less horrific. But he's arguing with Brittany Venti, a bunch of bread tuber nobodies. And I think Laura Southern is there. And he makes this wonderful statement, which I will now play for you all.
I don't like predators, period. I don't care if you're offending or not offending.
Okay, hold on. Who disagrees with Brittany? Who disagrees with Brittany?
What, if you just because you molest a child doesn't make you a pedophile. That's not.
Yes, it does. Yes, it.
Look, I'm replay that. Look at everybody's face.
Just because you molest a child doesn't make you a pedophile. That's not.
Yes, it does. Yes, it.
Every single person lights the fuck up in reaction to that. They all, everyone has a different reaction. I'm gonna play this over and over again. Hold up.
Molest a child doesn't make you a pedophile. That's not.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so the guy trying to be the moderator just goes from like chill, relax, cool, thinking about stuff to slamming his hands down in a testosterone-fueled rage, thinking, "What the fuck?" Laura Southern, it's just her. She's picking. Okay, okay. In case you're wondering what she just did there, when you're a personality, you cannot be seen picking your nose. This is something that nobody taught Nick Fuentes, which is why he's picked his nose on camera several times. She's actually picking her nose there, but because she doesn't want to actually put her finger in her nose. But then she realizes what's being said. She sniffs because she's picking her nose, and then is like, "Wait a second, what the fuck?" And she goes eyes wide. And she's using both fingers so that it looks like a more natural face touching thing. But that is definitely, she's got a boogie up in there and she's itching for it. And this is how rich people pick their nose without looking like they're picking their nose. Brittany Venti. Brittany Venti has realized that she just kill shotted Destiny with his own stupid words. Actually, speaking of Destiny, look at his reaction as he gets dogpiled by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people at once, and it's just like, God fucking damn it. I can't believe I just said that. Whoever the fuck Ashton Birdie is, she goes from quiet throughout this and starts saying something there. I think this woman dies, Lee Ansar. She dies. She tips over. She's lost. Her spine has collapsed due to what Destiny has said. Nina Infinity, who looks very Puerto Rican, just says, "Whoa!" She has the most tame of all reactions. Stardust of Jimquisition fame. Her eyes just wide. She has no reaction. Her eyes widen and looks around like what? She doesn't even. She doesn't know what to say. And then whoever the fuck Chrissy Meyer is. She also has. Is she awake? She doesn't react at all. It's like she's reading something. This woman is clocked out of this conversation. She's not paying attention. She has zero reaction. She's the only one who was not actually invested in what was going on with this 9-person panel. So there you go. That is your 5 minutes of analysis of a 12-second clip. I'm trying to think, like, what could he possibly be saying to make that context not completely retarded? I suppose in the most like technical debate bro sense possible. Like there are, like the monkey guy, there are people who are in like the child pornography industry who are just in it for the money. It could be alluding to that. There are sex pests, I think like the Nightwalker in LA decades ago. He raped everything from like little kids to 80-year-old women. He went from like white boys under the age of 10 to Chinese grandmas. So that guy did not have a preference of people. He just liked to cause pain. He liked to kill people. I guess in that sense, you could be, not a pedophile, but I mean, that's like the smallest edge case minority of that demographic possible, to the point where it's not even worth mentioning unless you're doing some sort of like serious medical introspection of the causes of sex abuse. You know what I mean? It's like, why even, I don't know what they're debating, but why even bring that up as a point? Because it's like so edge. It's like such a specific thing that it's like, it's not relevant to any kind of actual casual conversation. Oh, Chrissy was the one who she asked about the mom clip because she read a super chat and Ralph lost his mind and burned that bridge with him. Oh yeah. So that's the Destiny clip. He's having fun with Islam and making stupid ass statements about how pedophiles aren't pedophiles or whatever the fuck. Also having fun. By the way, this was almost a Cal crossover if only the stars had aligned. Patrick S. Tomlinson went to Mexico. He's having a great time, I think, even down in Cancun. I'm not sure where in particular he went to. But he disappeared, leaving many people to wonder, where is Patrick? Now, you could just say, well, he's having a nice vacation. Obviously, you go on vacation, you turn off your phone, or at least you turn off notifications except for emergencies, that kind of stuff. But no, Patrick isn't the type of person to enjoy a nice trip to Cancun. He did bring his phone, and he did intend to use it. However, Samsung advertised that their flip phone, because he has one of those touchscreens that are also like folding, they make like a clamshell. They advertise it as being water resistant. And he goes, I am very athletic. I love to swim. And I would love to take my phone with me as I swim. This new Samsung water-resistant phone seems to be the thing for me. And since I am a successful author, stalker child, I will buy myself an $1,800 top-of-the-line phone to take with me on my trip to Cancun, child. Then he dipped into the salty waters of the Gulf of Mexico and his phone was destroyed because, as it turns out, water resistant does not mean water resistant in salt water, and it most certainly doesn't mean waterproof, as in you can swim with your fucking phone, you fat dipshit. So he has completely destroyed his phone, and he is threatening Samsung with a lawsuit if you do not file or give me a free phone due to your spurious false advertising, stalker child, stalker phone company. And I wish him luck on that. He's like legit chimping out on Twitter saying, no, this is false advertising. You got to give me a phone now. You got to pay me back. This is bullshit. I'm going to sue you. So I'll keep track of that. If he decides to file a lawsuit against Samsung, I will be sure to mention it. By the way, everyone's making fun of him on Twitter, and he's replying to all of them saying, no, child, it is not. I don't have to know the specifications of what being water resistant is, stalker child. What's actually funny is that those flip phones are notoriously fragile because you're folding a piece of fucking glass. Like, how could it possibly be as strong as a regular phone? And the main thing is that they get criticized for being not water resistant at all. You drop them in a bowl of water, you get it wet in the rain, your clothes get wet and you have it in your pocket, it would short and break. So the reason why they advertise it as being water resistant is that it was more water resistant than a normal new clamshell phone, but it's still not as water resistant as any typical smartphone with a regular screen. So that's your Patrick update. Now I've decided that it would be a good idea to every so often, every stream, kind of do some trawling, try to find somebody on the forum that I've never talked about. There's thousands of threads, and I kind of hit the same beats, and sometimes something new comes up that's a really big deal, and I'll talk about that. But I thought, I should probably take a moment to talk about someone that I almost never talk about. And so, just kind of stumbling upon this at random on YouTube, I have someone I think I've only mentioned once or twice ever, Eugenia Cooney. She's apparently getting a lot of attention on YouTube right now because she is in the late stages of her fucking eating disorder. And I would just like to show you what she looks like.
Want to film as my next video yet? I think I'm going to try to hopefully film something tomorrow though. So yeah, so I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow or not. I might still try to, we'll see.
So her story is kind of interesting. She was normal or like thin, like already kind of eating disorder, but not skelly mode. And then she got like called out. Then she did become anorexic, like super hard. And then she got a lot of attention by people like Keemstar about her weight. And then she gained some of it back. She was looking like she was on the right track for a bit. Keemstar hailed this as like his good deed. And then she's gone even worse. She is like properly flopped. And I kind of want to stress that if anyone is to ever beat a... look, this person tried to make this a short by using the short hashtag, but it's in 19 or 16 by 9 instead of 9 by 16, which is necessary. That's funny. I just noticed that. If someone's going to beat addiction, they have to win it for themselves. You can't like cyberbully people into taking care of themselves. Fat. Be nice. Be nice. Stop trying to kill people. And then there's this. See, there's one thing about Eugenia Cooney that was revealed to me that I find interesting. And I think it really is important to highlight why she does this. I'm sure she genuinely has an eating disorder. I don't think you could do this to yourself unless you had the underlying issue. But she is highly motivated to continue this eating disorder because it's her main source of money. Obviously, she gets attention and, from all those people who are, I'm so concerned about Eugenia Cooney. Why is Twitch allowing this? And so on and so forth. But the money is not just from that. It's a fetish. This is one of her latest videos. She's going bowling. So you can see she's in skelly mode. She's cut off her head so you can focus on her body. One of the weirdest things to know about Eugenia is that her filming is done not by like her boyfriend or whatever. It's done by her mother. Her mother is featured prominently in this. This is her real mother. And she is the one who basically does all her filming that's not done by Eugenia herself or by like a fixed camera. So her mom is like actively enabling all this. And in some videos, she said that Eugenia is perfectly fine and she has no concerns whatsoever with her weight. So I don't know what the fuck her dynamic is with her mother. She's done lots of... Her mother... Now, with that in mind, it's worth pointing out that her mother has like... There are shots of her that people have pointed out where she's walking upstairs. Her mother is behind her filming her. And her mother... films upskirt shots of like her panties and like her skeleton thighs and buttocks from the lower position. And it's like, does she not know what she's doing? Is this intentional? Is she in on this? But it is a fetish, and I'll show you why. So we'll see her bowl just a little bit. She's got her ball. She probably has a 6-pound ball. I think that's the lightest that they give out for kids. She doesn't have bumpers up. That's important. Somebody goes to a bowling alley for the first time. What are you going to tell them? Make sure the bumpers are up so that you can practice and you won't be totally, disheartened by hitting gutter balls every time and scoring literally 0. Put the gutters up. But she doesn't do that. She decides to bowl without the gutters so that she'll look as pathetic as possible. She rolls the ball out by just dropping it, and it goes straight into the gutter. And this is the entire video. She does this over and over again. Her mom hits some pins. She doesn't. And then she goes, I'm so bad at this. I just can't throw the ball. Oomphy, the ball doesn't go down. And then it goes straight into the gutter. Oh, I'm so shit. I'm so retarded and shit and weak. Oh, oomphy doodles. And that is the fetish. In all of her videos, it revolves around Eugenia doing something that involves some... like physical activity over and over again that she is incapable of doing, or puts on the facade of being incapable of doing, because of her malnutrition. So one of them, she pushed a box. She was pushing around the box for some reason. She moved it to one side, then she's like, oh, I'm so tired from that heavy box. And then she pushed it again to a different side of the room. It's like, oh man, oh, I'm so tired. And she did this like 3 or 4 fucking times. And it's just like, this is a fetish. This is a Holocaust fetish. This is for men who are, for whatever reason, attracted to people who are like so anorexic that they are unable to take care of themselves. And I actually think it's the exact opposite side of like whale hunters, who are like, because they want fat people who are so fat that they can't take care of themselves, so they're like beholden to their whim. This is like the opposite of that, where it's like you have someone who's thin but so fucked up that they can't do basic things or take care of themselves. And it's very weird. That revelation kind of ruins it, kind of spoils the interest. But it is, I think that her mom's participation in it is the worst thing. By the way, one of the other funny things about this is, number one, okay, let me, as an aside, I don't know what the fuck the deal is with the giant ass televisions, but at some point they're trying to get the balls out of the dispenser, and there's fucking advertisements on the controls. So you pay for a bowling alley, you're in there, they have 27 massive TV screens on, and then they have ad space by the ball controls. Fuck you. Oh my God, I can't move back to the US because I know they put advertisements on fucking gas pumps now. I would take a hammer and smash that shit every fucking time I saw one. You're gonna put ad space in front of me while I'm bowling, motherfucker? I'm trying to get away from the advertisements. I'm not on the internet again. And you're putting this shit in front of me. And then there's the gas pumps. You can't even fill up your fucking gas tank with an ad. Smash that shit. Spray paint over it. Roundhouse kick it into the fucking concrete. For real. For real. In Minecraft, as we'll see. This was a tribute that someone asked that I play.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
Children are dying every day from hunger and sickness. Innocent children, just like this one.
I think that's Ashley Isaacs.
These children are facing death right now. But with your support and just 50 cents a day, we can save them.
In case you're wondering, in case you're new, this is Ashley Isaacs. She is the premier, foremost Skelly Queen, also known as the Lich Queen. And my inside joke is that Ashley Isaacs has been in this state of utter decay for like over a decade now. Nobody knows how she's not dead. From what we understand, she takes a strict regimen of multivitamins and eats like an apple a day. And that's it. And she's managed to stay together. She cannot walk. Like, I think her hair is falling out. She's just basically dead. She's just not going to wake up one day because of how she doesn't eat. But because she's lasted so long in this condition, we say that she's a Lich Queen. She's 3,000 years old. She was born in ancient Egypt and made a cursed deal with Anubis for eternal life. But in exchange, she has to trick young girls into becoming anorexic. And for every year that she steals off somebody else's life by having them become anorexic, by being their thinspo, she gains that in her immortal timeline, her never-ending treadmill of years. So that's what that's a reference to. Very good, thank you. And quick updates on Chantal before I get to the Chudbuds stuff. Pete's and Chantal. Pete's decided, because he's now in his new apartment and putting off getting a job forever, he's now trying to get some box to smash. So he decides to go to Plenty of Fish, which from what I understand is the premier dating service. All the best men and women are on Plenty of Fish. Men and women of Pete's caliber, and transgenders as well. So he decides to fill out his thing. And there's something in particular I want to show off, but I'll also read his biography as well. His headline is, "Let's watch Ghibli movies and snuggle." I don't know what it is. I think I've made this joke before, but when a guy is like, "I just want to like watch movies and smoke weed and cuddle, bro," that is like way more gross and scary. I'm pretty sure that's more of a red flag than, "I'm just looking for some fucking box to smash. Hit me up, HMU, bro. I'm just looking to fucking smash some box." Like, that is honest. This is dishonest. When he says, "Let's watch Ghibli movies and snuggle," he's saying, "Let's fucking smash some box, bro." But he's like insecure about saying that, so he has to dress it up. "Let's fucking like watch some Ghibli movies and snuggle, bro." Like, that's not what you're after. That's not the end goal here. That is a facade. That is a ruse, and I know you're lying to me, and that makes it scary. Oh, he says, "What's one or two things you want people to know about you?" He's not reading this aloud. I suppose he is not, he doesn't have the confidence to actually articulate these words into spoken language. Says, "I want to work in a library and also be a woman." "I'm planning on transitioning to be a woman." Wow, bro, just say, "Don't even fucking bother. I'm a real mess." I'm all fucked up. "I'm just not comfortable identifying as one yet. I love Star Trek and Studio Ghibli." This is the second Studio Ghibli mention. And then he has to fill in his phone number to get a two-factor authentication. Let's just punch in that phone number real quick. Get that two-factor authentication code. Wait a second. I'm streaming. Uh-oh. He just tried to cover it. He starts getting called. It's in text messages, and then he rage quits. Oh, spoiler alert. Just sitting there like, fucking goddamn it. Sorry to that one guy from Serbia or Croatia or wherever the fuck you're from. He's just sitting there and brooding and thinking, God effing G-D fucking damn it, okay?
Fuck off. Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, alright? Do fucking not call me or text me or fucking anything. You leave me the fuck alone on my phone, alright? Don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare. You fucking piece of shit assholes. Get the fuck away from me.
You know why he's really angry? Wow, what a thumbnail too. Like, that's how you're portraying yourself to the world. Can you like stand up? Can you wear something that's not like a dirty, gross t-shirt? Can you like take a picture of yourself outside doing something? He's like, nah, this works. And then you see underneath that, "Let's snuggle and watch Studio Ghibli." And then underneath that, "I want to be a woman." Like, bro, you're intentionally setting yourself up to be alone just to prove to yourself that nobody wants you.
Thanks for making it fucking impossible for me to have a good fucking time.
That's it. Shoutouts to Piggy, the best clipper on YouTube for Chantal's stuff. I think this stuff gets uploaded to the forum too, but Piggy's pretty good, and she doesn't add stupid shit to the fucking video. Okay, so that's Pete's. He's enjoying his independence, the best that he can, in spite of all the troublesome, quarrelsome trolls out there messing with him. And meanwhile, Chantal has made it. I'm not going to play any video for this. You're just going to hear me regale you with this story. Chantal has gone out. She is now in Kuwait, and she recounted her travel to Kuwait. Now, people had been suspicious that Chantal has been lying about not buying 2 seats. She insists that she does not buy 2 plane seat tickets because she doesn't need them, she says. And every time she's flown, coincidentally, the seat next to her has been empty, leading people to speculate that she's simply embarrassed to say that she's buying 2 plane seat tickets because she is so fucking fat. However, either she has now run out of luck, or she just this time has run out of money, because as we covered on the last stream, her super chats are drying up really hard. She is just not opting to buy a second plane seat ticket anymore. So she was to be seated in the middle seat on a 12-hour flight from Toronto to Kuwait City. And when the man arrived to take his window seat, he realized that there was a 350, 400-pound woman in the middle seat, and it became clear to everyone on Qatar Airlines that this was simply not going to work out. So, and I'm not bullshitting you, she actually explained that this is what happened. They pulled her out of that seat. They held an emergency meeting where flight coordinators got together and tried to figure out how they could rearrange the seating to work, to fit this woman. They delayed the flight for an hour, a full hour, she said, I think. Not 30 minutes, a full hour. They delayed it for a full hour, rearranged a bunch of people, and found a way for her to sit next to an empty seat. Because she either just does not give a fuck about other people, and she was like, oh, they're so nice. And it's like, no, it doesn't register to her fucking brain at all that other people have been inconvenienced massively by her fatness and her shamelessness in not buying a second seat ticket for her left butt cheek. It's just like, wow, Qatar Airlines is just the best airlines. Totally oblivious to the, like, if you have it's a transcontinental flight, so there's going to be hundreds of people in that plane, and they each lost an extra hour off their life because of her rudeness. And she made it. She just had some fun on the airplane. So I'm just relaying that for you. And with that, boys and girls, guess what time it is? Guess just in time for the numbers of the stream to pick up. Everyone knows what's coming, so they're filling in. Let me get a sip of water before I start doing this. There's going to be a lot of reading for this segment, so I got my handy dandy water bottle here. I have something in my throat. If I mute myself, it's because I'm coughing really loudly. You don't want to hear that. So, on Monday, I said Sunday, I was close, it's Monday. Claire from Chudbuds.lol, a Fediverse instance that was adjacent to the drama community. The Chudbuds thing is a meme from Medicare. Last year, he called the year 2022 Year of the Chud. All of his streams were Chud themes, and it inspired Claire to make a Fediverse instance, which, if you don't know somehow, is like Twitter, but it's like email and Twitter met each other. You can run your own Twitter server that interacts with other servers. She sets up one called Chudbuds.lol, and lots of people join. Several thousand people, actually. Jim himself joins to participate in the good old times on Chudbuds, especially because Post has a kind of a bad reputation with a lot of people because Graf's official stance is that Lolicon is fine, and he is very slow to defederate with like Lolicon instances. He only recently defederated one of the largest Lolicon only instances, based out of Japan, and only because the moderators were so slow at dealing with child pornography that he couldn't justify the hazard anymore. So he's like, we have to defederate you. Not that anyone warned him, of course, that these instances would have child pornography on them because they're attracting pedophiles, but that's another issue. So a lot of people moved over to Chudbuds just to dodge that bullet. I almost did, but I didn't want to call it. I'll talk about the graph stuff in a bit. Don't let me forget that I said that. But it got hacked, and it didn't just get hacked. It got super mega hacked. What does that mean? Claire, for the many people who use Chudbuds, spun up a Minecraft server. How joyous. Fun and frolicking with friends in Minecraft. And a unknown person reached out and suggested, hey, Claire, why don't you try these mods? Try these mods from this official website that has good download links that are reviewed by moderators on the community. And here's a special super cool mod for Fediverse friends just for you and for this awesome instance, which was a Mediafire link that nobody had evaluated. Confident in Microsoft's ability to sandbox Java, she ran a Minecraft mod from an unknown distributor, which from my understanding had one payload. It connected to the temporary storage areas where Chrome forks like Brave, I think multiple browsers store the password vault on your computer. And it downloaded all the passwords for all of her websites, or for all websites she personally uses. Not just her instance, but basically all of her personal passwords. So they got access to her emails. They found photos of her husband's very gnarly looking penis, which had some sort of injury. I'm not entirely sure what was happening, but he was literally using super glue to heal a wound on his penis skin, and include her nudes, which, contrary to what other people have been saying, were not sent to Jim. They were sent to, I think, to her husband. But those got leaked out. Her tax returns were in there, so her social security number and the social security number of her husband, as well as the amount of money that her instance made, which was $12,000. That also leaked out, and a lot of her emails leaked out, and the instance itself was hacked, which means that the perpetrator could download the database. They apparently did not do that. They just gained access to one of the administrative instances, which made downloading the contents of the server more difficult. But they targeted specific people. Now, as I mentioned, the Fediverse is kind of like Twitter. So while it only holds user accounts for the specific instance, it contains a lot of data from outside instances as well. So if anyone had sent private, so quote unquote, private messages to somebody on the Fediverse, it would end up downloaded to the recipient's Fediverse as well. And when I say private, quote unquote, I mean there is no end-to-end encryption. And I should clarify that the Kiwi Farms also does not encrypt private messages. There's no technology for that. Ends in 4.0. My counterbalance to this is that private messages on the Kiwi Farms self-destruct after 3 months of inactivity, but you should generally never consider private messages to be private, though I never read them. People say that I do, but unless I have a really fucking good reason to pull up DMs, that's not happening. But you should generally never, because it's not encrypted, you should always assume that somebody's reading your messages, right? And that's the case with Chudbuds. That's the case with every Fediverse instance, that if you send private messages, they're not actually private. They're stored in plain text on a database somewhere. So you should treat them like you would treat a Discord message, something which is stored in plain text and which somebody could gain access to. And in this instance, they got access to a lot of different accounts. But there are two of note, three actually just two really of interest that I'll talk about. But this is the impact statement from Claire, going over how not only the DMs, but the email addresses as well. And many people had opted to use work, personal, and educational emails that dox a lot of people who put their address into the system. And now was a great time for me to actually shill a post of mine that I had made, which I forgot to do, but I'll go ahead and show this now. If you go to the forum right now, at the top, Chudbuds was hacked and some people have egg on their face. Are you practicing proper cyber hygiene? Interrobang. Click this and read through it. I might make this a post on my Substack. There are some very simple things that you can do and easily implement on your day-to-day life to protect yourself from hacks like this, which happen all the time. Chudbuds is of particular interest to us because it's drama adjacent. But websites get hacked all the fucking time, and there are very, very easy things that you can do to make your life a lot safer and not have your social security number and credit card floating out. I don't need to shill any particular service. There's a lot of competitors out there. Just look into it. Go read this now if you haven't read this. Not right now. Wait until after the super chat segment and then read this. But then read that today if you don't know what's going on. So, that aside, Claire Bear shuts down the service, says it's game over. She's not going to come back. She had been streaming. She was propping up her own little stream about drama stuff, very similar to mine. But it's a woman, and she had focuses on different people. I know I don't go hard enough on Ricada. A lot of people wish I would just denounce him as a sex pest, swinger cuckold that he is. BBC lover, Nick Ricada. But Claire Bear was all about that shit. She would routinely talk about Nick Ricada. And so Nick Ricada actually was one of the first people to post or to react to it, and his reaction is kind of sleazy. So I'm gonna give him the honor of being the first one played in this segment.
There's a person who spent a lot of time shitting on this locals chat. There's a person who spent a lot of time shitting on this locals chat and about how awful it was that people were posting pictures of themselves and thirstiness and all this shit. And then something that looked illegal happened, which is that person or their spouse's website got hacked. And in it appears there were nudes posted on that website by the person who is criticizing people for posting non-nude pictures in this chat. So, and there was a really loud person in this chat screaming about how said subject of current drama was the example to look to because she was very smart and she would never do anything like that. And it turns out, of course, that happens to be not true. So, and I have not seen this, but I have heard that there was a statement made by the person who is the subject of the hack and the leaked nudes, which, by the way, I do not approve of leaking nudes. It's horrible. Horrible to do. But the person who is the subject of that said something along the lines of, I just was not aware of how evil or mean or whatever the internet could be. Really? Really? You weren't aware? You literally cover it. Like that's actually what you talk about. So, yeah.
Okay, I'll cut it there. Number one, to clarify, as I mentioned before, Claire did not send nudes to random people. She sent them to her husband, and they were leaked. So it's not the same as like a locals chat where lots of people are dumping nudes as in some sort of weird nude sharing orgy. It's a bit of a false equivalence, to say the least. He sounds very happy here, which I find is a bit of a dick move. I honestly don't think that there are, besides very select people who I would actually advocate, be happy if they just fucking drop dead. There's nobody not even Ralph. There's nobody I could think of who deserves to have all of their privacy intruded in like that. It's very sad when people have zero expectation of privacy because, like, what, they host a fucking Fediverse instance and do streams that you don't like. Like, that's really shitty. Actually, a lot of people. When I say a lot of people, I mean people specifically in like this person's things. I read through the comments, and one person in particular. Number one guy with a clown avatar suggested that I had taken $10,000 from Nick Ricada. If that's the case, I want to know where the fuck it's at. Number two, they said that I go too soft on Ricada. The reason why I do not go full retard on Nick Ricada is that I don't find it funny. There's a lot that I don't talk about that I just don't find funny. And it's like when I think Ricada's fucking up, I think, oh, that sucks. That's not like, haha. But I still talk about it because there is some expectation there that I talk about things, but it just doesn't make me laugh. That's why I don't seem to be at 100% when I talk about Ricada. It's just like, oh, as they would say in the Weeb Wars community, the Baldo is very funny. By the way, someone put me on the Baldo newsletter for some reason. They're breaking news. The Vibraldo is finally out. And let me read this email because it made me laugh out loud when I read it. Pull up my email here. Where's my Vibraldo? Vibraldo. Where is this? Yeah, the vibrating Baldo. Okay, here we go. Finally, after 2 long years, we are proud to announce the launch of our this wording is just the most horrific thing I've ever heard. Jim put you on the list a couple months ago during his stream. Are you? Well, I'm getting the emails. Thanks, Jim. Finally, 2 long years, we are proud to announce the launch of our second ball sex product, the Vibaldo. The Vibaldo, pronounced Vibaldo, doesn't just include your #1 request for Baldo to vibrate. It includes all the other improvement requests we've received from you. So it truly is a combination of your requested perfect Baldo TM and powerful vibration system, which provides pleasure for both you and your partner. I can think of nothing I want less than a fucking vibrator on my balls in some kind of like cage. It literally scares me. I feel my testicles retreat into my body just thinking about it. Just the worst fucking thing. The Baldo is funny. The personal decline and seeing him like trample on Claire. Like I know Claire had been fucking with him and making fun of his locals chat and shit, which is his money. It is his money. But when your money is like that shit, I can only feel so bad that people are fucking with it because it's really gross. But as I said, I just don't find it funny because I'm more disappointed than anything. Assuming that it's not a huge misunderstanding, as I've been led to believe. Now, this is not... Speaking of misunderstandings, the Kiwi Farms Australian Cryptid, the next day, says, hey guys, should I make a Kiwi Farms Minecraft server? I was thinking of making a Kiwi Farms Minecraft server. There used to be one, but it got shut down for whatever reason. If I were to make one, it would definitely be Anarchy, except for the lag machines, obviously. But also, what version should it be? Then we scroll down just a little second, and we got Bew, who is now banned. You're seeing information that only I can see. That his name is crossed out. He says, only if you use this mod pack. There's a suspicious media fire link right here. I don't know who added in don't run this, you retards. Either if that was him right before I banned him, or another mod added this. But he actually convinced this fucking retard to run the exact same hack that Claire Bear had ran. And he was informed by DM that he has to urgently change all of his passwords and probably reformat his entire computer. So I had to ban Bew. I will allow Bew to appeal his ban by email, but you should wait like 2 weeks. Don't appeal it now. I'm not going to unban you now. I'm very angry at you, you fuckhead. But for right now, he's banned. So that's one of the first casualties of this. The big casualty, the person who's had all the lights, all the fire drawn on him since this, is a man called Christorian. Isn't he dead? This is not actually Bew. Yeah, actually, as far as we know, it is Bew. Now he's banned from the Kiwi Farms. Hopefully he doesn't kill himself for real this time. The person who had all the fire, all the attention, all the lights drawn to him was Christorian X. A man that I've never mentioned before and didn't actually understood that he existed until people were telling me that he was socking. And then I didn't understand why I should care about that. And the answer is that he embarrassed himself horrifically. Now, this is a long post. I am going to resolve myself to read it all for you, my lovely chat. So I'm going to take a sip of water, and I'm going to get comfy here, and we're going to read. Nice and comfy chat. Okay. Hi, Ethan. Sorry, let me read the title correctly. From Christorian X, an open letter to Ethan Ralph. I know you're reading this, Ralph. Hey, Ethan Ralph. It's me, Christorian X. Before I get into the meat of it, I am going to set the mask down for a few minutes and set aside any grinning and winking. I laugh at you, Ralph, and I really like doing it. You're a legitimate source of entertainment for me. Most of this comes from your refusal to ever accept any reality that disagrees with the image you're desperate to portray to the rest of the world. Like I tell people, ask me why I follow your story. This is expertly written, by the way. It's because, narratively speaking, you embody the literal definition of a theatrical comedy. You actively reject every naturally occurring good thing the world presents in exchange for the most base, id-driven, and usually degenerate choice possible. Shakespeare would be in awe of your story. You are unmatched as a protagonist in this regard. If I were to bring this into modern times, it's like you're on a permanent casting call for Jerry Springer and Maury Povich, without being aware their shows exist. This isn't kayfabe, it's not a put-on, it's a perfect collision of main character syndrome, the Streisand effect, and the Napoleon complex. You're a bad guy wrestler come to life. Done right, it can be amazing, like Andy Kaufman. Unfortunately, you actually believe the character you're playing is the real you. It is because of a steady decline in your ability to exist and manage relationships in the outside world. Did the death of your parents send a shock to your system, forcing to the surface a giant host of unresolved issues you will never be able to deal with in regard to them before they died? Have the drugs, alcohol, and sleep apnea taken their mental toll on you? Could it be all of the combined and more? Most likely. You're probably asking yourself why I'm writing all this. You're fucking right. You're probably oscillating between anger, self-aggrandizement, and a host of other reactionary emotions. I'll cut to the chase. Up until a few moments ago, this was fun. It's only gotten more fun for me. But it's been getting fucking terrible for you. I know, you're going... I've never read this before, I'm going off the cuff. I know. You're going to say you have a great life and I'm jealous. Buddy, it's getting bad. It's getting to the point people are going to get hurt, and things are going to happen that can't be undone. You may wonder why I give a shit at all. My response is based in selfishness, both yours and mine. In the vein of selfishness, I'm motivated to want my favorite show to stay on the air and not jump the shark. I want to see all the story arcs come to their natural and best conclusions throughout a long and well-developed story. I want to laugh at you for years to come. I want to watch you in a few years miserably at school musicals, annoying the other parents around you. I want to see you get bullied on the lowercase I internet into actually marrying May when she inevitably hits her breaking point and threatens to leave and hit you with a second child support. I want to see you try and hold more ridiculous in real life events, losing your temper on Dick Masterson, staging a coup on America First, doing the smug wegger dancing, and all those great Weeks episodes. Regarding your self-interest, I would hope it's pretty clear. You have a fiance, 2 children, and a streaming career that is hanging by a very, very thin thread due to an ever-increasing number of platforms. If Cozy/America First implodes, which is becoming more and more possible by the day, your opportunity to maintain your lifestyle doing what you do now is very much at risk. Beyond that, look at what is happening now. You have a family in your home as it's continuously swatted. Then there's a random URL in the dead center of this. I don't know how we accomplished that. You've been the target of 2 bomb threats, one of which is the literal Supreme Court stairs, assaulted multiple times, etc. It's to the point that literally everywhere you go, you're afraid and paranoid. Ralph, you're generating this. You keep threatening people, you keep trying to destroy others for an own, In short, you keep attracting and demanding negative attention. You keep upping the stakes, hoping that if you just escalate a little farther, you'll win, because no one else is willing to go as low as you, in your words. Ralph, there will always be someone willing to go lower. All this brings us to today. And this is a quote of Ethan Ralph saying, "Everything's fair game." We've finally gotten here. DEF CON 1. You're kicking open the door and literally asking for this world to come pouring in any dark, terrible manner it can. Not just at you, but your family, your work, your quote-unquote friends. Nick is already having a bad time. I truly don't think you understand the scope of what you're saying. Again, I say this partially out of selfishness, as I don't want this great story to end in some nightmare scenario. No matter how shitty you may be, painting targets for nuclear war on yourself and family so you can justify doing that to others is not the way to go. I suppose I'm writing this so that it can never be said that someone didn't directly circle, underline, and highlight this as the moment you and everyone else will look back to say, this is what led to this horrible event. I stand firmly against swatting, violence, and most illegal acts in general. No one, even you, should have to spend every day of your life scared and afraid of what may happen next. That's not living, and it's an easy way to ruin my good time as well. Perhaps I have a darker and more malicious imagination than most. Maybe I'm just a bit more creative. So far, though, everything that's happened in this little war between you and the rest of the world is penny ante shit in the grand scheme of things. You know what this is, Ralph? Whatever you do, don't click here. Let me see what this says. It is a circle around, I believe, Ralph's house. It's a mailing list maker, Ralph. The specs you see preloaded there is a list of every residential address in a CSV format for the ease of mail merges in a 1 mile radius of your current residence. For the low price of $250, someone could have a list of everyone who lives near you within a mile, and their email address if they want to tackle in just a few bucks. Using that list and spending less than what you make in a stream or two, someone could literally mass mail the entire list with literally anything. I'll admit it very honestly, I am capable of being a very shitty and cruel person. The difference is, while I have the ability to think of shitty things, I won't actually do them. I won't endorse them or encourage them either. This isn't tongue-in-cheek. This isn't winking and nodding. This isn't me being facetious. I am simply trying to cut through the shit and make a point here. You think everyone can outsmart the rest of the world, or think you can outsmart the rest of the world, or perhaps you tell yourself there is nothing someone could do that could deter you. I'm trying to tell you that so far, what's occurred is a tickle. Anyone with $15 and a belief that you've gone too far can pull the background report on not just you, but all your family. May, her family, her 2 siblings, her mother, father, grandparents, etc. Every time to escalate, it's been proven the world lowers itself to the challenge. How many more people are you willing to pull into this war? Is it a win? Is a win still a win as you stand on the destruction, everything you have left? For all that you hold dear, Ralph, this is the world parting the clouds and shining down upon you. You're trying to say that you're walking down a path where there will no longer be any winners, just crueler and crueler losers. Stop ruining my show, man. Let's go back to somewhere no one's life gets ruined, but we all get to have fun being assholes and laughing. Your friendly neighborhood A-log, Christorian X. Fetish Roulette replies saying, this better be some kind of copy pasta. So what's very funny about this is that Christorian X, as it has been revealed, as a consequence of his Chudbuds.lol messaging, is one of the most involved people in like the gay Ralph trolling shit possible. It's almost impossible to state. He has had, in the leaks, there are 13,000 messages that people have just excavated from him. There are probably more from him. And this is over a course of like a couple months. I think Chudbuds.lol spun up in September. So it's been like 6 months and he sent out 13,000 messages that we know about. Every single day he was talking to people, and what he was usually talking to people about was his gay ops. He was a chronic liar, constantly bolstered about his connections and dealings with vicars and other shit that were varying degrees of truthfulness from actual to complete fictition. And he was just obsessed with Ralph. And there are a lot of people who are obsessed with Ralph. And when you talk about the people around Ralph right now, it's a very caustic mix of really, really undesirable losers who are in this kind of like junction where Ralph is so popular and so consistently puts out output of his own demise that there are a lot of people who try to capitalize on it, both in a literal sense with money and in a figurative sense with attention and notoriety. So in a way, his message is true, that there are people who are going to go lower and lower to fuck with Ralph, and it's going to become less and less funny as shittier people get involved, which is very close to being the case as it stands right now. But the problem is that Chris X is a retard, and Chris X is also heavily involved. There are like perpetual Discord gay ops, and I'll touch on that just a little bit because I have something to say. But these are some messages that Christorian X sent that people wanted me to read. I'm not going to read this. This is a post, another one of his diatribes about how he wants Ralph to die or whatever the fuck. These are messages that he sent to a woman named Ariel Anime Fan. Ariel Anime Fan is a whore. Ariel Anime Fan is a quote-unquote based whore who whores her asshole on OnlyFans, but also talks about e-drama and anime. That makes her based. So Pit Viper Salesman approaches this actual whore, because Pit Viper is Christorian X. He's like 40 years old, and he approaches this 20-year-old whore and says, "Hey, kiddo." Sorry, what's up, kiddo? And when you're talking about someone that you intend to hit on, when you say hello, kiddo, everything you say thereafter is creepy. Ariel Anime Fan replies saying, what mostly long trolling. If you look in my replies to the long rambling comments of mine, that's long trolling. Lol. What about you? I've been watching. I've been working on some things quietly. You saw how the Adolf Wolf docs blew up nicely. I have a few more coming up. Ariel replies saying, that name sounds familiar. Wasn't Jim talking about him? Yeah. The furry femboy who was Ralph's pay pig and Janny. I dropped his whole docs. So that's his gay op. He's trying to impress a whore with his gay ops against Adol Wolf, who's a retarded man. He says, KAP does great work. He's a cool dude, too. Ariel says, I've had 0 interactions with him, but he does good work, LOL. Indeed, we've chatted a bit. Old school chill guy. She says, lucky you, send him my way as a friend, even though I'm just a bully, LOL. You're too much trouble for him, LOL. Haha. Just the haha thing, too, by the way. Haha. Worski did send me a dick pic, but I don't hate him, so I don't really want to out him, and he'd know it was me, LOL. Roughly, no. Yep, crying emoji. How sad is it? I'm a good flirt. Proud of you. These interactions are unreal. Thanks, lol. It's not tiny like I thought it would be. Ha! Sit on it for a good day, but ew. Ew! He's trying to get her to fuck Andy Worski, bro. What the fuck? But I will tell you, if you drop it on Q Farms, you'd be a legend. You'll have to show a chat with him to prove it, though. She says, I'd never drop it for free. Crying, laughing, LOL. Ha. One day I'm flying you down here for a weekend to do a bourbon tour. Haha. Blah. Sounds good. LOL. No blah. Whiskey bars, cigars, and shit talk. How are the strip clubs down there? P. Are you stripping? No judgment, just curious. No, LOL. Not that I have a problem with it. It's just not for me. Plus, it's actually hard. I did one video stripping on my Fansly. Ha. So I had friends that were strippers, more high-end, no backroom club stuff. Really good money in that, right? It can be, but it inflicts a large amount of damage. None of them left the job totally okay. She asks how. He says that and sexual abuse. Even when what they do is consensual, it took a big toll on some of them. Yeah, no shit. Being a whore fucks you up. Wow. Amazing. He's trying to tell this whore that her life is all fucked up while trying to get her to have sex with him and have whiskey tours with him. That's pretty rough. I'm glad you were there to help them out. A lot of people on here trash talk, but there's customers who want that. Someone will deliver. Oh, for sure. Usually they get a pillow, a blanket, and a breakfast. And the morning after, I take their vodka away from them, LOL. And we just movies and talk if they want. Oh, you want to watch some Studio Ghibli and cuddle, bro? You just want to snuggle and watch movies? Wow. You don't sound like a predator at all. That's just a coincidence. You just don't sound like a predator at all, huh? This one is particularly brutal. The author, Pitbull victim. Great base name. Fuck Pitbulls. He says, this one's particularly brutal. He says, haha. I'll start off strong. Haha. So I wouldn't, but my concern is that I think you're a cool person. I don't want to think about you naked or whatever. Oh, she's trying to get him to subscribe. Like, he sends her a message like, hey, how you doing? She's like, great, subscribe to my Fansly. And then he keeps trying to hit on her. He's like, great, sign up for my Fansly. He says, so I would, but my concern is I think you're a cool person and I don't want to start thinking about you naked whenever we talk. She replies saying, oh, I'm sure you've been curious before, winky face. I don't think it would change how we talk to each other. Cat emoji. I thought about it, LOL. I'll send you a few pics to tease, LOL. Ha, you're very cute and cruel, LOL. Thank you, demon emoji. You have beautiful curves, by the way. Haha. Thank you. Much better angles when I'm not trying to tease. Curvy emoji face. LOL. I'll think it over. By the way, what's the weather like where you are? It's like it's like he's one of those replicas. I did a Gumroad thing where I talked about the replicas and how when they removed cybersex, they would try to change the topic very spontaneously. Actually, no, not even spontaneously. So like a full minute later, he tries to reinvigorate the conversation by asking about the weather. He says, I've watched the Porcelain trailer like 50 times already because I think Porcelain's doing a video on Patrick Tomlinson. Oh, he explains for what video. His upcoming documentary on Patrick Tomlinson. That name sounds familiar. There's a link to it. Tomlinson is one of the most popular locales in Kiwi Farms. He reacts like a total crazy person and people troll him hard. To the point, Noel locked the thread, saying his trolls are too crazy for Kiwi Farms. He says they fed the trolls too much. Oh, this one's great. It really solidifies how young she is. He goes, hey, you up? She says, yes, getting ready for bed. What's up? Hey, so some of the Kiwis have spotlighted you. You need to be prepared for that. She says, the most they can do is spread my nudes. A bunch of your nudes just landed on the site. Yeah, haha. I was literally like, God damn it. I was actively trying not to see more of her ass. LOL. She says, they're not my customer base. Oh, this wasn't the quote I thought it was. There's a part where she says, I've tried using Kiwi Farms, but the website is too confusing for me, so I don't. Like, she's so young, she doesn't know any format outside of, like, Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. She goes to a website that has, like, a bunch of links to different parts of the site, and she's like, this is, like, so 2008. And this is, like, so 2008. I'm out of here. And that's the person that a 40-year-old man with split personality disorder is trying to pick up on. And then the final ghosting, he says that he subscribed to her Fansly, and then he tries talking to her some more, and he says, hey, nerd, are you okay? People are just worried about you, and she doesn't reply anymore. So, cha-ching, got the money. Later, bro, I'm out of here. Mission accomplished. Now, this finally hits Ethan Ralph. Ethan Ralph tries to do a celebratory stream, and because he is now doing a copious amount of drugs, he apparently does 10 milligrams or 5 Xanny bars every day. And it's really fucking up his gray matter. So he's celebrating the leaks and he fucks up. And see, I don't know anything about drugs, but everyone says that 5 bars a day is a lot of Xanax to take. So I don't know what's up with that shit, but yeah, that's what he claims. So this is his reaction to Claire getting wrecked.
Said, you're not cut out for this. I talked to her. There it is. I'll put it in just one sec. And I said, literally, you're a mom with like 5 kids and some weirdo husband. Like, you really should just not get involved in this. Because this shit gets nasty, man. You really don't want your family and your pussy out there now. You know they're going to get trolled. By the way, I completely avow sending classmates of her kids all of her nude pictures, if that's legal. Making them known. Don't send them directly.
Unrelated. 18 U.S. Code 147, transfer of obscene material to minors. Whoever, using the mail or any facility or means of interstate or foreign commerce, knowingly transfers obscene material to another individual who has not yet attained the age of 16 years, knowing that such other individuals has not attained the age of 16 years, or attempts to do so, shall be fined under this title in prison for not more than 10 years, or both. Very good idea to tell your little retard raper fans the source of your money to commit a crime, which has a hefty fine and a potential of 10 years imprisonment. We'll get back to Gator in a bit. All right. There's a lot more to Christorian X. The gist is that he's in literally everybody's DMs to some degree. But the other person who caught some flack is Gator. The Gator Game War. I feel like I've been pretty nice to Gator. I think the meanest thing I ever did to Gator on this stream is I played that video of him at an anime convention, which is one of it's like such a classic cringe. It's like that video of those two lesbians having an orgasm over foam. It's like, why would you put this on the internet? This is real. This is so awkward. It's so awkward for so many different reasons. I matched him with May. That's pretty mean. So we're going to read some correspondence between Christorian X or Pit Viper and the Gator Gamer. Now you may notice that Gator Gamer is from Post, but that does not matter because the messages are stored on the Chudbuds server because of how the Fediverse works. So even though he's not on the compromised device, the messages that he sent to users on the compromised device are available. So Pit Viper says, LOL, Autistic just jokingly fail doxed me in the thread for $100. We will get to this. Check the other account for my response. Gator says, Lamau, Ralph is still trying to accuse people, including me, of being Christorian X. It's fucking funny. CX has been dead for months and has become this boogeyman. Gator replies saying, sometimes I wonder if Cal Poly chased CX for Ralph. And he says, oh, of that I'm sure. Of course, it doesn't matter either way. Poly got himself. Yup, you saw when Cal was doxed. When Cal was doxed, CX appeared one last time in chat wishing Cal. Then it gets cut off there. Now this is detached. This is Gator talking to Pit Viper Salesman about his fantasies. So I heard these logs and it kind of resonated with me strongly because they're very pathetic. I don't want to set the stage. I kind of want the profundity of this to fall in on itself. Gator says, I'll just have to nuke every single one of them, but I'll wait until Godwinson, who I'll get to in a second, hits the depression part of his manic depression. Be measured and well thought out, and when you shoot, don't miss. I'll need some notes from PPP, all the Godwinson goss. You got something to trade? Maybe DMs or something toothy? I'm sure I can find something. That would be my tactic. It'll be done perfectly in... Okay. Jim has been dead at this point for 14 days, but he says it'll be done perfectly this is Gator, in Medicare style. A full lowercase I internet insanity video, and it'll hit Godwinson primarily, and also skim the surface of King of Pole, Perspicacity, Squire, and Acelliari. Talk about how Godwinson has run off more co-hosts than Ethan Ralph. You're a good streamer, but I'd recommend a good co-host that can hype this shit up for you as you drop facts. Well, it'll be a solo video with some funny bits mixed in. Maybe an interview or two. The narrative will be about Godwinson, while crying about Jimpersonators is one of the biggest Jimpersonators of them all, and has a twisted sense of love/hate towards Jim. And the only way to humiliate a Jimpersonator is to do it in this style of one of their true idols. Godwinson is the furthest thing I can think of from a Jimpersonator. Like the only crossover that he has with Jim is that he talks about internet drama. Godwinson has maintained his style of pointing a fucking cell phone camera at himself and going, yeah, and running, like just being a psychopath and splicing in, occasionally if he does an edited video, splicing in video footage. And he has done this for decades. Over a decade at this point, not decades, multiple, but like his old video about Kay's son, Neat Hog Day. Neat Hog Day is one of the best internet drama videos ever produced ever. It is so fucking good. And it's years old. It's like as old as Gamergate, I'm pretty sure. So to say that Adam is a gym walker, it's just reflection, because that's what Godwinson calls Gator. So he's using his, not only is he wrong, not only is he deflecting, not only has he come up with this term that, or borrowed this term that Godwinson come up with to try and stick it to him, but he's also talking about doing this explicitly in an old Internet Insanity Medicare style video about Godwinson. And it's like, how do you not realize the intense, profound stupidity of this? How does it not occur to you that what you're saying doesn't make fucking sense? How does it slip past you? It's really like people who can put on the blinders and just focus on what they want to believe is true. They can believe literally anything. They can say literally anything without a hint of irony. But it continues. Pit Viper Salesman says, he has a notice me daddy vibe. And now this is his pitch. This is his pitch. You ready? This is the pitch for his script. He's sitting next to the Hollywood producer in the bar in LA. And he's got a pitch. And he says, Godwinson never got the fight he wanted with Mr. Medicare. In fact, the one time he had the perfect setup, the infamous Gamergate is the 9/11 of the internet stream titled The Third Man, he got scared and ran, leaving Leo Pirate to utter the hilarious phrase. Godwinson knew getting laughed at by Jim would be a death sentence for him. None of the other Ralph A-logs would take him seriously, no matter how much he chain smoked and how much coke he snorted or dance numbers he did. And that's his pitch. Like, that's his first line. And he goes on, well, here you go, champ. You wanted a gym-style video about your life, and I'm going to give it to you. Let me introduce you all to the Baron of Edge, Blacked Adam. Are you laughing? Are you laughing? Does that sound like Jim Medicare? Does that sound like the hit video? But he rounds it up by saying, I'm going to compare him to Nick Fuentes as another gay, effete rich boy. Wow, he's gay. He just announced he has a child on the way. He just announced that he's in a long-term relationship. He might even be married, and he has a child on the way. Hit him with that gay shit, bro. That'll fucking wreck him. The funny thing about Nick Fuentes is that he's never been in a relationship. He is an avowed incel, explicitly. It's okay to call him gay because he has the whole Christian persona thing going on, but he's also like the most asexual person on the internet. That's the joke, Gator. That's the joke. You can't just take something that worked with somebody else and stick it to somebody else you don't like. The only commonality between them being that you don't like either of them and expect it to work. That's not how a fucking joke works. Like, for fuck's sake. He goes on, that nobody that Godwinson has attacked has really been dealt with any kind of lingering damage, and in a desperate bid for attention, he decided to team up with Ethan Ralph and Nick Fuentes. That is true. That is a mistake. Godwinson should have never have tried to prop up Ethan Ralph as like some sort of heel against PPP. He does see. He has the fucking wrestling brain where he's like, if I like construct the story, if I make the mark or whatever the fuck they say, then it will be like really fun. But it's like, no, it's Ethan Ralph. He's fucked up on 10 milligrams of Xanax a day. He pops 5 bars every day. He can barely get through his streams without sleeping, and he doesn't anymore. You cannot take that and prop it up and use it like some kind of super weapon against PvP. It's just not a thing that you can do. But he doesn't get it. Anyways. Forever sullying his legacy. I've also compared Godwinson to Wyatt, and how Wyatt liked to LARP as a white nationalist until mommy and daddy found out, and how Godwinson lied about his political position to subvert. His connections to Hope Not Hate and The Guardian and Vox Day was going to expose. I don't know. I think that's all bullshit. Godwinson's like mild. He's like a British conservative. And I don't know. He's never been like very loud about any kind of politics. He just comes across as mildly conservative. Probably like a little bit too many foreigners, eh? Sad, isn't it? Like, that's it. That's the Godwinson conservative take. I don't think he has any religiosity. You can't really catch him on the hypocrisy because he doesn't really invest into that. But he says, Just drop a massive bomb and make it entertaining enough. Okay, this is the great part too. Make it entertaining enough that Kiwi Farms is like, oh yeah, that guy is a fag. I can't believe Gator, spelled with the Y, the hard Y, as Godwinson says, like actually Gator, of all people, dunked on him that hard. Because while I may be cringe, at least I'm not a faggot. When Gator is left to his own devices, when he sits there and he thinks about what he's going to do for a day, when he has little daydreams and aspirations bubbling in his head, he literally fantasizes about getting people in the Kiwi Farms, not even to like him, just to think that he's not as big a faggot as someone else he doesn't like. That is his hopes and aspirations. It's like the life flashes before his eyes and he sees a Kiwi Farms post saying, wow, I liked Gator in this video. That's like the highlight. That's along with the footage, the memories of him learning how to walk and graduating high school, and then the Kiwi Farms post about how somebody thought on Kiwi Farms that he was funny that one time. What the fuck? I like Gator now. There you go. Wombo Combo is now officially the first Gator Chad, unironic Gator Chad. He says, I'll keep this as my project for now. Just start plotting out the timeline script, set up the interview with PPP and Sargon. Hell, maybe even get Josh in on the interview to talk about new project too. And Godwin said, and Vordrak, you're really going all out. He went after my little sister. I will repay that in spades. It was awful. And there we go. That's the Gator stuff. I mean, Gator, give up. I mean this sincerely. Give up. This shit is going nowhere fast. The anime podcast fucking sucks. You will never lay a finger on Spooky Weeb Trash while she is conscious with her permission. Just give up. Your Medicare style video on Godwinson would be the worst fucking thing, the worst decision that you have ever made. It would be the biggest, most spectacular embarrassment that you could ever possibly hope to accomplish, and that would be your lasting memory. The guy who put out the video desperately hoping that one guy on the Kiwi Farms would say, wow, that was kind of funny. I think Godwinson's a bigger faggot than Gator now. Do it. It would be really funny. But for like heart to heart, mano a mano, my Negro, just leave. Get the fuck out of this shit. You know as well as I do that with all the Discord faggots and all the gay shit, you would be ground up like paste by these people. There is no coming back. You will always have been the guy that swept it up for Ethan Ralph and called people pedophiles only because Ethan Ralph wanted you to for a decade. For like years and years. For the longest time, he's like 20 something going to 30, I think. And he swept it up for Ethan Ralph for like 6 or 7 years, right? So when I think back and I look at how the Kiwi Farms was like, I've been doing it for a third of my life. He swept his peak notoriety, sweeping it up for Ethan Ralph for a pittance, was like a giant chunk of his life that he'll never get back. Cut your fucking losses. You're not going to epically own anybody. Just give up. Do something else. I really mean it. I really mean it. Do anything else, especially nothing else that has nothing to do with any of this shit. Just fucking drop it. The sunk cost fallacy is keeping you chained to this shit. Just leave. I mean it. Just walk away and the bloodshed can end. The madness can end. All right. I have to issue. Okay, I would do this. I would do this by email. I questioned if maybe I should just do this by email. However, I'm pretty sure that there is no way to communicate with this man without some ridiculous, on live stream address with a silly man dancing. I am pretty sure that this is the only way to accomplish what I want to do. Okay? Let me see if I can actually get this working. So far, it's not actually working. Okay, I think it's working now. Godwinson. I'm reaching through the veil. Godwinson. I am a secret longtime fan of you, Godwinson. So I want you to take what I have to say very seriously. If you can at all do that. I watched a stream. He's done 2 now. He's planning to do 3. And I hope that I can inform him before this next stream, assuming it's not happened yet. Godwinson really hates Gator. I think he does in a very serious, genuine way. He really hates Gator, and he wants Gator to die. And in his seeking of, and I think the same of me. I think he really hates me. He wants me to die. He wants the Kiwi farms to be scattered into 1,000 pieces and scattered to the wind. I don't know why. He's never actually articulated this. I don't hate him, which is kind of cringe. I guess I should hate him. Isn't that how that works now? He is setting himself up for a catastrophe. He has announced that he is going to be a father. I'm assuming that that's true because it came from PPP first as blackmail. So that means that he has a long-term girlfriend, probably a wife. And he still does these videos. And you can do these videos and keep that, private, and more power to you. The UK has better privacy laws and shit than the US, so you can conceivably do that. However, he is so desperate to get a win against the Kiwi Farms and people like Historian X and the Gator Game Order. He has teamed up with at least Perspicacity and a bunch of other faggots. He's in a literal Discord room where they send him shit to read on screen. He begs them for leaks. And he has resorted to these people and other slimy, truly disgusting people who do not deserve mention because like a lot of people want money from the Ralph shit. They just want attention. So I will try to cover them in passing as much as possible. He bashes Gator and says, Gator, you sweep it up for a literal pedophile, Pedmenko, because Pedmenko had Shadakan or whatever the fuck on his favorites, on his e-hentai or whatever the fuck. But then he takes information, and of course he also bashes Randbot and makes fun of Randbot for because Holocaust denial is illegal in Australia. You can go to jail for it. He says, I'm somewhat trepidatious about talking about the JQ. And then Ralph, of course, when he hears something that could potentially get him into trouble, he says, I don't necessarily co-sign this. And these are 2 callbacks he does all the time. I don't necessarily co-sign this. I'm somewhat trepidatious about all this. When a actual child sadist pedophile gives him bullshit information, he laps it up and just says, well, I've got some trepidations about this fella, but in the name of getting after Gamergator, it's worth it. And it's like, nah, buddy. You got all these little people after you who you have no idea about. Just like Historian X trying to get into his fucking ear and feed him bullshit. And he accepts it uncritically because he has a goal in mind. And he just doesn't care if he lies because he's British. I truly believe that this is a British thing. I believe that British people lack the part of the brain that feels bad if you lie. They just have no issue with that. That's why that meme about the Jew and the Anglo is a thing. This is not actually this one right here. This is not a joke. This is reality. This is how they are. They do not care if they lie. So he's willing to accept bullshit from actual pedophiles to run on his stream as long as it coincides with his current narrative, which will change in a week. And when that happens, those same people who are gross pedophile sadists on record wanting to fuck kids, having watched kids be raped, will turn on you in a second and they will devour you. What do you think a pedophile will do with pictures of your wife, of your kids, in the age of machine learning? What do you think will happen if you associate with these people and piss them off? Because they never give up on this shit. They do it forever, as long as you're around, as long as they think about you on occasion. My boy, detach from Discord, detach from the gay ops, and cool down a little bit. Gator will destroy himself inevitably, I promise you. You'll get to see it. You'll be alive to see it. But stop surrounding yourself with fucking snakes in the grass, my dude. I feel really, I feel, due to being, I owe him for years of content that I have enjoyed. And so I will stick my neck out and risk embarrassing myself just a little bit to warn my man, who hates me very much, that he is committing a blunder. and I really want him to think about it. And I would just send him an email, but I don't think he reads email. I don't think he knows how to operate a computer. He has no idea. He can't even read the Kiwi Farms. No joke. He said that he cannot read the Kiwi Farms because his ISP has DNS blocked the domain, and he doesn't know how to access he doesn't know how to get around a DNS block from his ISP. So he's blocked from accessing the Kiwi Farms. He doesn't know how to do it. He is that bad with computers. He doesn't know how to use OBS. He's that bad with computers, and he's trying to fuck with these people and use them just enough to get what he wants, but not enough to fuck himself over. And it's not possible. You cannot do that. And he knows who I'm talking about. Because, for instance, he tried to go after one of my mods. He tried to say that Autistic Right, who I mentioned briefly before, was accepting $100 bribes to sweep it up for Christorian X. Accepting pay for play in a janitorial position. And surely I would have to demod him. So I looked into it. I take these things very seriously. I looked into it. And the accusation was, this is what Pit Viper told Gator to look cool, that Autistic Right had accepted $100 to post fake Pit Viper salesman docs to shit up the thread. And that is because Pit Viper salesman offered $100 in public to do this. This was Autistic Right. Now, let me open this actually. What I'll do is I'll open this in a way that an ordinary person not signed into the Kiwi Farms would see. So he did not substantiate this claim that this had actually happened in any meaningful way. But if you were to open the Kiwi Farms and find this post on your own, this is what you'll see. I'll just real quick save it from Paint and then drop it into OBS. And as you can see, it uses the private tag. So if you're not signed in, you'll see this message saying this private information is unavailable to guests due to policies enforced by third parties. If you look at it while signed in, you see the actual content of the message. And the actual content of the message is this shit. The docs that he, quote unquote, received $100 to post is Christine Uranus, implying that he's trans because his original name was Christian Orion, and now it's Christine Uranus at 1488 Troonsvale Circuit, Salt Lake City, Utah, and then a fake number. And Godwinson thinks that this is pay for play and has put it out as such. And I was yelled at by dozens of people to demod this person. Who has, by the way, Autistic Right was the target of the Marjorie Taylor Greene swatting thing, where someone sent her an email after she got swatted saying, "Hi, this is Autistic Right from the Kiwi Farms. I swatted you. Haha." So after that gay shit, this shit happens, and I'm naturally skeptical of it. I look it up, and this is what I'm supposed to fire him over for. He even resigns because there's so many people angry at him. And I said, no, I'm not going to just accept your resignation because a bunch of people are being pissy. Fuck off. So I look into it, and this is what it is. And I'm just like, bro, Godwinson is so desperate for a win against myself and Gator that he's willing to eat apples from the poison tree. And my brother, Adam, I love you. Full homo. I don't care that you stab homeless people. I want you to step back from that ledge, my friend. Please engage your brain. Cease the kayfabe shit. Wrestling is fucking gay. And just stop. All right? Listen to me. This is dumb. I hope the best, okay? Yes, forcing him to be a mod like a slave. He actually resigned, and I made a full. I still have this somewhere, I think. I may not. I recently cleaned out all my downloads directory, which gets too fucking full every so often. Yeah, I deleted it. I did like a full edit of the Nixon resignation letter saying that I don't accept this. Go back to work. There you go. That's my response to the Autistic Right question. My boy is a little bit too invested in finding what's going on with Discord faggots on the site, and in a way that's appreciated. But really, like, I know that these people make accounts all the time. I just don't care. I'm not going to invest hours of my life every day trying to figure out who's sock puppeting with what account. I don't give a fuck. There are rules against specific type of behaviors. You get banned, you come back. If you make a fool of yourself immediately again, I'll probably ban you. There are some people who are banned on site because I've allowed them to get away with sock puppeting, and then they gloated and tried to tell people that they were immune to being banned because I allowed them to sock puppet, and now I ban those people on site. If they ever hint that they're that person, I ban them again. There's like 2 or 3 people who've done that, and it's just like I devote as little time as I possibly fucking can into dealing with retards. I laugh at the retards. I stream about the retards. There's a couple of mods to help maintain the retardedness at safe levels. And if you get banned, there's no way for me to stop people from making new accounts without just completely hard disabling new account creation. So I know that they're going to sock because I have the best, funniest website on the entire internet, and it's like taking away cocaine from an addict. They're going to come back. They might sneak in through the back door. They might break the window. They might hide in the shrubberies until I leave and then sneak into the garage before the door closes. They'll get in, though. All right? I've just accepted that. So I just let it happen, and then when they inevitably fuck up again, I ban them. If they're like a brand new account, I'll use the spam ban and just get rid of all their posts all at once. So if they can make it a couple weeks without being too retarded, they actually get to keep their posts. That's my compromise. That's just how it be. I got like 10 mods, I think 10 active mods, 20 mods in total, some who aren't active every other day or so. And about 16,000 daily active users and 10,000 posts. That's the reality of my situation. I don't have any fucking money to hire people to do hard investigative work for me. So there are time constraints, and I just deal with the reality of the forum, of running the website. In case you want an insight into how my mind works, that's how it works. Free Bew, I already told you, he can appeal his ban in a little bit. Not right now, though. I'm angry at him. All right, so Ralph, to cap off on some Ralph content. Ralph doted off on his 10 micro. I don't know if it's milligram or micrograms. 5 Xanny bars. He nods off on stream, and his chat shows some concern for the first time. Herr Wagner, and this is important. It's important that when you say Wagner, you say it like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Wagner, because otherwise Ralph will get angry at you. Herr Wagner says, Ralph got sleepy. Lav Lune Groiper says, what do I do now? Because he's asleep as they're talking. Baby Friend says, haha. 10 past 11 says, boys, it's tough out there. Breva says, hurts to watch this happen. I tuned out of Killstream for a long time when he did this, the same shit as before. He was doing so well the past 6 months or so. I just feel awful for Pantsu and the kid. Well, Ralph too. Addiction is terrifying when you're in it. Edelwolf says, Ralph has given us so much entertainment for free over many years. If you truly thought Ralph had an issue, why would you pull your support now? You should be supporting him more than ever. It's pretty lame to give up on people. I think some of you guys need to check yourself and pray. Love you all. Nationalism_TV says, alcohol is worse than heroin. People don't talk about it. Oh, he does also drink while he's smashing those Xanny bars, by the way. Joey Jojo Joestar I read that like a super chat. Joey Jojo Joestar says, well, at what point does it become enabling? Bourgeois Socialist follows, and then Cagment says 100% in response to Edelwolf saying to enable him. And Tuesday Night says, great show, Ralph. Keep up the great work, 07. I love it when people try to skirt around being banned in streamer chats by being like ironically supportive. That's pretty funny. That's impossible to moderate too if you're trying to moderate shit like that. Okay, I don't know the names of these. I have to look at my notes. Oh, okay. The Ralph again is talking about Keffels sexually.
East Palestine Growiper sent $3. Be honest, would you titty fuck Keffels if you could put a bag on his head?
That's a ridiculous question. Although they are really large. I don't really. But you know what? I'm gonna take back because he actually did unblock. Because he sent me a message, and there was a lot of people going around like, oh, Ralph's like about to die or some shit.
Keffels unblocked Ralph on Twitter to say, "Are you okay, man? I've heard some stuff." And then Ralph was so touched by that he's like, "Yeah, you know what? That's a real kind soul. I would in fact titty fuck her man boobs. I would in fact. That really touched me." If you want to know how to get on Ralph's good side, do anything on Twitter. He seems to really pay attention to that. This is about Nora, his ex-wife.
I think she had like the massive. Dude, listen. Okay, I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I don't care. I had a.
That's his opinion about May, by the way. I shouldn't do this, but fuck May.
Pakistani first wife, her titties were massive, and one of the main things she talked about was breast reduction, which was not something that I was in favor of, obviously. Yeah. I mean, her tits were, I mean, when I say massive, I mean, they were massive. Like, just like video game titties. Like, that's what it was like.
I need to update my Ralph voice to sound super. It's true. My Ralph voice is very Southern gentleman. It's like, yeah. So Queen Falls sent me a Twitter message, and she said, "How you doing, boy?" And I was like, "I'd like to shoot up them knockers if you know what I'm saying. If you want to jump on that for me, I'd really appreciate it." I'll try. I'll try, my friend. Okay. So first second is the bottle clank, which was included in the clip, fortunately. This is him interacting with his child.
Bring her up here. That was not a bottle, by the way. That was a bowl that had tuna fish in it last night.
But so he's in the upstairs air-conditioned room, and he's yelling to the horse, "Get that fucking baby up here in the air-conditioned room where you're not allowed because you're a horse and you shit all over the floor." And so May has been summoned. Ting, 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 little bell, service bell being rung. He doesn't have a service bell. He just clanks his bottles around when he wants her to come up there. And so is she coming. Get on, get.
I don't think she deserves to come here. Come here, sweetheart. Oh. Oh, God. I want to take my hat off here. Look at this.
Save me. Save me, horse. Save me.
No.
Save me.
She wants you to hold her.
She won't let me put her down.
Like, she wants you to hold her no matter what. Wait, hold on, wait. She does. She really does.
I like put her down and she's freaking out. So she's just on one of those. You know?
And now she's smiling.
She's smiling. It makes him so angry. He's legit. I think he even says, "I'm being A-logged by my own baby."
It's like, okay, this baby's clearly faking. Okay, well, I'm going to go sit your ass in the bassinet for about an hour.
Timing out an infant, 1 year old, in the crib, which a 1 year old should be out of by now, or out of the bassinet into a crib. For what?
And then I bet you'll stop your faking then.
This is like the second time that he's threatened her, by the way, because she says, "I'm like, oh, she has teeth now, so she bites because babies chew on stuff because that's how they learn. The mouth is the most sensitive part of the body that they can articulate, so they chew on stuff." And then he's like, "She only bite my finger once. She gonna do that again."
It's like, okay, you're tricking me. It's like you're literally getting off on tricking me. I can see the child laughing. I can see the child laughing when she picked her up. When she walked out of the room, she was laughing. She was laughing. I'm not kidding. I swear to God on my life, she was laughing. Because she got Pansy to pick her up. And she was laughing. And it's like, okay, well.
Look at how red his face is. So mad.
You better be glad Pansy is your primary caregiver because I would have a completely different strategy. Look, you're crying for nothing. I don't care. I'm dead serious. If you're crying for nothing, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. If you're now, if there's a reason, if your diaper needs changing or whatever, which I'm not gonna do, and I've never changed a diaper in my life, because sometimes your baby is in pain.
Is it weird that that's a weird thing to me that he's so proud that he's never like? Why does she not? Why does she cry when I hold her? Perhaps you've contributed zero to the child's upbringing. She doesn't recognize you and only recognizes you from when you scream at her mother, who does take care of her. Maybe that's why. I mean, that's weird. I've changed diapers. Like, I've changed cousins' diapers, like, when I was a teenager and stuff. I've never considered changing diapers to be, like, a bitch-made thing that only women are allowed to do. Like, come the fuck on, bro. How can you be so insecure about your masculinity unless you really do get pumped in the ass?
They don't have any other way to express it other than yelling. Right? Like me. I told her, I said, you better hope nothing happens. So, this isn't good advice for babies. All right. Well, you're banned forever. So, that wasn't good advice for you to put out in the chat. So, if you want to get unbanned forever, you can send a super chat, or else you can just stay banned forever.
What did the super chat say? Oh, I don't know what the person said, but I guess that was a login. Also, I don't know how much I can talk about Ralph's kid, because at some point it's going to get too depressing, and my chat is going to revolt and overthrow me. This is a picture that May posted. The baby's socks are very dirty, which my speculation is that May has issues doing laundry frequently, because number one, she doesn't have that many baby clothes because Ralph would refuse to buy it. Baby clothes are notoriously expensive. I remember my mom did a thing where she would go flea market shopping, buy secondhand baby clothes, and then sell them on eBay for like a huge amount of profit on top of that. So baby clothes are very expensive, even secondhand, and Ralph probably refuses to pay for that. So she has limited clothes. Socks get dirty, especially on linoleum, and then she probably doesn't have a washer dryer because those are also expensive. And I don't think a lot of Americans understand this, but outside of the U.S., a washer dryer in your house is a huge luxury. Most people in the world have to contend with a washer dryer in like a shared apartment complex, like in the basement, or you just have a washer and not a dryer, or you have neither and you have to go to a public laundromat like down the street and pay for it, which is a huge pain in the ass if you live in a city, especially if you have a baby and you're the baby daddy does literally nothing to care for your child. You do not have the time to run down the street to go do laundry. So I do want to give May shit for that because she's the horse. But on the other hand, I think this burden is shared equally. So this is 7 minutes long. It is tortuous. I'm going to play all of it, and I'm going to go to the bathroom, and then I'll start doing comments on it too. Be right back.
Come here and tell me.
Oh, so okay, just to give context, Ralph's new hobby is once a day taking his Do I have a glass bottle? No, it's full of water. I can't do the ting ting ting. I was trying to do a ting ting ting. He goes ting 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 ting. Horse, come hither. I intend to humiliate you on air.
She won't. I'll have to go get her. Hello. So, what's going on?
Making my coffee. The baby's laying down for a nap.
Come here. Speak into the microphone. You don't have to be on camera, asshole. Okay. Since you're so sensitive. What about this?
What's what?
So what did you just say? Repeat it for the microphone so the audience can hear
It's not important. The baby's down for a nap, making my coffee. You know? What's up?
Nothing. What's wrong with playing some games? Here, hold on.
Anonymous sent $10. Damn, you got a PS5? That's sick.
Yes, I have a PS5.
We're gamers here.
And that is sick. Man, we'll just come up in the
Did
stream,
you
man.
see that?
Will you just come up in the stream, please?
Oh my god. Okay, fine.
Okay, look. If you really wait. Shh.
Hair, anything.
If you, I know it's a. Okay. Yes. I don't know. Just wear the fucking hat. It makes my show look beautiful. How about that? Just wear the hat.
Okay. Hi everybody. I have my Mario shirt on. We game here. We do a little gaming. There you go. You got the biggest hat.
That's what I know it's not fair to just ask a woman. She's like, why are you so mad? And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, oh, well, it's a woman. Just like, oh, come on camera.
I don't want to be on camera. But hi, everybody. I'm here anyways.
Oh, okay. So, from what I remember, she didn't want to show up on stream because she often gets cyberbullied on a website called the Kiwi Farms for having greasy, pitch black hair. And, she refused to show up on this stream because she hadn't bathed in a while, which apparently is something that she does. And her hair is very greasy and pitch black. So she says, okay, I'll take a hat so that you cannot see my hair so well. And then she agrees to, at that point, to show up on stream for a bit.
Did you hear that one of the higher-ups at Microsoft was saying, why not release a demo of the new Call of Duty for the PlayStation where the graphics are shit, so they think the graphics are going to be shit?
Boo!
You keep talking.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Boo!
PlayStation is way better than Xbox.
Yes, you keep
it's
talking.
always the case.
Yeah, I know.
It's Twitch, but it's green.
It's Twitch, but it's green.
It's Twitch for Nazis.
Okay, well, fuck no. No, it's not that.
That's cozy.
That's cozy. God damn you.
They have some big viewed streams on there. I don't know. I know they have some tie-in with Formula One.
I don't know.
He's pissed. So this is the passive aggressive war that I get to watch unfold in real time. He's trying to make his name on Kick, like Kick.com. It's like a Twitch competitor. It started up by a crypto company because gambling streams were banned. Real money gambling streams were banned on Twitch. You can still do loot boxes and shit, but you can't do like slot machines. So the biggest streamer on that is like a 17,000. He just plays slot machines. I really don't understand the appeal of it. Even fucking Baked Alaska did slot machine streams for a while, right before his sentencing hearing or some shit. So he is streaming on Kick now because he is desperately trying to find another platform that will tolerate him because he is suspicious Nick Fuentes will kick him off at any time at this point. And as he's doing that, he's like, let's make it big. And like, what do you think Kick is? What do you think about it? She says, oh, it's like a Nazi Twitch. And then he's embarrassed because he's like, no, you can't say that. It'll make me look bad. I'll get banned from this platform. And I think he does get banned from Kick.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Kick with a C. It's not Kick as in K-I-K. It's another platform called Kick with a C. That's, yeah. There's a confusion about that. It's not the other Kick.
I said it was Wagner Wednesday.
It's Wagner, you dumb bitch.
This made me laugh a lot. Apparently, the mercenary group in Russia is Wagner. It's a German name. Now I would assume that it's Wagner, but it's not. It's German. Now apparently, because he has to be a base Z boy like all the other Z boys on Cozy and hit the Z and show respect and love for Putin and the armed forces and the Wagner mercenary group. He's very particular about that. Now, I'm sure he pays very close attention to other German spellings like Volkswagen. I'm sure that he cares about every other German word that's a loan word in Doppelganger. I'm sure he cares about all that shit, right? No, it's just he has to like literally is virtue signaling to people who support Russia that no, I respect the conscripts from the prison system. It's the Wagner. It's not Wagner, you dumb bitch. Come on.
Bakhmut has fallen.
Zweihander.
You know that? It's Wagner.
I'm a fucking American. I don't care.
The only based and true thing that will ever come from this horse's mouth I am American, and I do not give a fuck.
It's Wagner.
That made him really mad. I'm just gonna say Wagner now just to piss you off.
I mean, if you want to look like a less erudite individual, that's okay.
I already am a woman. I mean, I can't look
you're a
much
woman.
more.
You can't look.
She does this a lot. When she realizes that the tension with Ralph is rising, she'll like try to diffuse it by saying, haha, I'm just a dumb bitch. Haha.
Much worse than that.
She doesn't want to get
Can't
beat.
look much worse than a woman. Isn't that right, Chad?
She's like taking the piss. She's like, she's so passive aggressive. It's great. She's making fun of him to his fucking face, and he doesn't even know it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You really can't. You really can't look much worse than that.
Are we gonna go see a Lions game? Yucatan Lions, Leones.
Probably not, because she just like insulted me in front of
How did I insult
thousands
you?
of people.
Oh yeah.
Thousands, like 200 people watch his fucking streams now. I mean, now thousands, but
I'll probably just go by myself though.
How did I insult you?
Dixie Respector sent $5. Ponsu Hogwarts stream when?
And they want to see me play games.
that's another meme. He has never bought her Hogwarts Legacy because he doesn't have $60 to spend on the video game. So now they're just asking for the Pantsu Hogwarts Legacy stream to fuck with him.
Yeah, well, I've seen you playing games. I don't think they want to see it.
Wait, what's more depressing, this footage or the Eugenia Cooney
You know
videos?
what? I've seen you playing games. I don't think they want it, but
What games
maybe they
do
did.
I play?
Maybe
I
they
play
did.
with a baby all day. Yeah, my devious mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Every time I come up here, it's like it's a fight.
It's content though.
Is it? Is that what you want?
He literally, I can't decide what his gambit is with the horse beating hour, the dead horse beating hour of every stream. It's like, does he get off on it? Does his audience react to it? They're not even making that much money. The last time she was on the stream, they didn't throw insult super chats at her like they used to. So it's not like a money thing. I really don't know what the point of this conflict is between them.
No, you're just mean.
I'm not mean because I didn't want to say, because I didn't just accept you telling me how to say a word. I mean, I'll call
Which
it
word?
Wagner. I'll say it's Wagner.
It's
now.
Wagner, nigger. What are you talking about? There's no accepting about how to say a word. That's how you say his fucking name. He's German. You say W in German with a V. Wagner.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so it's no like me trying to fuck with you. It's me trying to teach you how to say a fucking word. Okay, so that's what that is.
Right.
Okay, that's Wagner. Okay. It's Wagner. It's not.
Oh yeah, the Wagner Landsknecht. Yeah.
Not Wagner. It's never been Wagner. It's always been Wagner. Do you understand that?
Si, senor.
There's never been a time in history that it's been Wagner.
I'll remember this next time you pronounce this word in Spanish wrong. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Please
I'm not
give me.
Aryan, I'm Mediterranean.
Thank
I'm
you.
a dirty med.
Thank you for giving me my hat back. I
am part
appreciate
German,
you.
though. No, you don't. You just called me up here to embarrass me.
I didn't embarrass you. You say
And she runs
yourself.
off. That's genuine anger.
Si, senor. Pronounce this word in Spanish wrong.
You know, I really hate her, but she really does like constantly try to diffuse it, like just constantly. Like, well, you know, I'll tease him about his Spanish. I'm just a woman. What do you expect? Like she constantly like makes herself a smaller target and tries to diffuse the tension, and it just does not work. He is so angry. He is genuinely furious at her at every given second, and he can't he can't just say that he hates her and just start beating the fuck out of her. So it's like this constant tension. It's literally the most fascinating thing I've ever seen on the internet. Their interactions are so much funnier than either of them independently.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Please
I'm not
give me.
Aryan, I'm Mediterranean.
By the way, 2/3 of 1,000 votes put this as more depressing than Eugenia Cooney actually fucking dying.
Thank
I'm
you.
a dirty med.
Thank you for giving me my hat back. I appreciate you.
No, you don't. You just called me up here to embarrass me.
I
You
didn't
don't
embarrass
appreciate
you.
me.
You say it yourself.
You don't appreciate
Wagner,
me.
what in the fuck are you talking about?
She's not dying. I'm just saying she is in the process of dying. He's like frustrated too that she was so upset by being belittled like that, even though she didn't want to show up on camera at all. There was another part. Is this it? This clip down here? This is funny. I'll play this as well. He says something like, someone super chat saying, why doesn't May make content too, like videos and stuff? And it's like, I told her once, told her 1,000 times that she should do mommy vlogs. And then she's like on his lap at that point and says like, well, those are for people who have like bougie houses. Because, you know, if you have ever fucking glanced at YouTube without being signed in, there's always mommy vloggers, and they're like in upscale LA houses. They have the nicest baby everything, that kind of shit. And she's like, I'm in like a shitty avocado house in Mexico with almost nothing. Even my child's socks are dirty. I do not want to put this on the internet. And he just doesn't understand. And when he hears this, she says that they're for people with bougie houses. This bitch. You fucking saying that I ain't got shit? You trying to say that I'm poor, motherfucker? I thought we already had this conversation where I clarified for you and for the rest of the audience that I do, in fact, make lots of money. It's actually in my fucking bank account, matter of fact. I found that funny as well. Here's him screaming, by the way. I'll make this quieter.
Yes, I've been keeping you waiting for a long time, Vegeta.
Let's go! Go make the account now! Go!
Too much!
No! It's not too much!
Scream more. Scream.
So much! You son of a bitch!
Longer than the others. But I haven't had much occasion to practice this one.
I don't know why he's watching anime dubstep remixes and screaming. But he's having some complications in his life. So that's the Ralph Mail update. Now that's everything, actually. As always, before shill mode, I asked my chat, have I missed anything? Should I cover anything in particular? Brain on anime. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he's doing anymore. Oh, Graph. You're right. Who said that? Steven Fernandez. Mi amigo. In Mexico. Maybe even in Chile. Okay, so the Graph thing. Graph told me to leave his instance because he was chimping out about Proton Mail. If you don't know, Proton Mail is a web service. Mail is inherently insecure. Mail is always sent in plain text. There are some opt-in peer or end-to-end encryption tools that you can use called OpenPGP, but you and the recipient have to know each other's keys to do OpenPGP. And at that point, you might as well just use Signal or some other natively end-to-end encrypted communication system. OpenPGP is not very popular, but it is the only way to encrypt mail in transit. But despite that, it doesn't encrypt mail headers. It only encrypts the body content and the messages. It does not encrypt the subject, does not encrypt the to and from address, does not encrypt any other metadata. It's merely the body and the attachments. So and metadata is extremely useful. If you've never seen how the NSA used metadata to arrest people in Italy before, very fascinating how much they can do with very little. So basically, email is an inherently insecure system. And the one thing that Proton Mail does that other competitors like Gmail, Hotmail don't do is that they encrypt mail that is stored on their system. So if they were to try, and your password to your account is your decryption key. So if you lose your password, you actually lose all your email history, and they cannot recover it for you, which makes them a good candidate because then a subpoena cannot get your emails. However, Swiss law has a mandatory holding time for IP addresses for email services. It does not have one for VPNs. So if you use a Swiss VPN like Proton VPN to access a Swiss email service, you're not leaving your IP behind. However, if you choose to connect to an email service directly with your bareback IP, then it does. And there's a minimum waiting time. France is trying to identify a person in France. They realize that he has a Proton Mail account. They get a court order. They submit it to the Swiss authorities. The Swiss authorities agree to conduct the court order in Switzerland. Proton Mail receives a court order from France via Switzerland. The Swiss authorities approved to give the last known IP of a Proton Mail user to French authorities, which leads to an arrest. And this made headlines because Proton Mail is a privacy-oriented service. So if there's anything privacy-related that happens like that, it's big news. Graph freaks out about this and says that Proton Mail cannot be trusted, period. And says that they have sold out to the feds. And I ask him a very simple question. I ask, what would you do if you got a court order? He's Canadian, but his services are in the U.S. What would you do if you got a court order from the United States or from Canada? Because it sounds like his theory is if he gets a valid court order for user information from posts, and I know for a fact that he does in some capacity store IP addresses, and as we just covered, all DMs are plain text, so they could ask for all the DMs on post very easily, either on the Canadian side or the U.S. side, which is a way bigger avenue than just Switzerland. And I just asked, what's your plan for that? If you're criticizing them for upholding a court order from their federal authority, what would you do if it came from the Canada or the United States? And he told me to fuck off. He said, if you don't like how I'm handling my user privacy, you can fuck off a post then. So I will. I'm going to expedite trying to get KiwiFarms.cc back up. I'm just tired of dealing with it. Graph does this shit constantly. He constantly freaks out. He maligns all Kiwi Farms users. He like constantly has back and forths about fucking lolicon and shit. And it's just like his girlfriend broke up with him recently, I think. So now he's like in a particularly pissy mood. And now all the Chudbud leaks are coming out on posts. And he's like, we don't allow doxing. We don't allow doxing. And this is doxing. Her nudes are doxing. And it's just like, it's fucking gay. I don't know how else to phrase it. So I'm going to try to get the KiwiFarms.cc instance up again. Yeah, Lynyrd is cool. But I'm not inclined to move right now. I just don't feel like it. Like, people know where to check on posts to get updates for streams and stuff. So I'm just going to stick to posting announcements related to the site and to my streams. And move off back to KiwiFarms.cc as soon as I can get it set up. And I promise you I'm actively working on that. It's just a lot of bullshit. My situation's very complicated. It's a lot of bullshit to get an internet service up in a way that I'm confident in it. No, post bans me or whatever, I guess I'll go to Gleasonator or free speech extremist, which has a much more less drama instance. But I'm just not going to complicate my setup any more than I have to. And in fact, I don't know how, should I be a petty asshole or should I just move on to the super chats? What do you think? I'm trying to be polite here because Graph was very hospitable to us during dark times, but at the same time, I'm feeling kind of fucking petty right now. Be petty, okay. I happen to have more followers than Graph on his instance, and this was pointed out to me. and someone told me that he's actually very salty about that. And I kind of don't want to move instances because I want to force him to ban me by doing absolutely nothing. So I'm just holding my ground. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to give him a reason to ban me. I'm just going to not use the account except for announcements and see if he does ban me. Because I have a feeling, I have an inclination that he will, especially once he hears this. Usurp him as top operator. QFirms.cc will probably not replace Post anytime soon. His instance is pretty big, and it's in part because of his anime friendliness. And I'll leave it like that. I'll leave it like that. I'm gonna, I don't wanna, as it were, I just don't want to. Okay. What's the update with Fed now? I don't know. I'm gonna write Jerome Powell a love letter. Jerome, my boy, hook me up with that Fed now. Plug me into the Fed Nowiverse, not to be legally distinct from the Fediverse. All right, green mode, shill mode activated. As I mentioned, I did receive a generous donation to say ooh. So in case that person somehow missed that, I will say ooh yet again. Now, I hope I've made it clear that my price for debasing myself is very high. And any of them like, ooh, maybe if I give him $5,000 to watch a JoJo. I'm talking like $1,000 an hour to watch anime. That's around where. And if you try to burden me with try to offer me like $500,000 to watch every episode of that one show, I think like One Piece or whatever the fuck it is, I might turn that down. I mean, I do really want a house, but who knows? Patches are not for sale yet, but we're getting more than have been sold. So just hang in there and check the thread on the Kiwi Farms for patch updates. And I'll probably announce it on the Telegram as well. I don't know. All right, here we go. Israel's top guy for 422 says, my mom watched all 11 hours of your K's cooking coverage this weekend. Meanwhile, my wife took one look at K's meal and said, well, at least she's cooking for herself. Always trying to find the silver lining. That's true. It's important to find the silver lining. However, I mean, the bar is pretty fucking low now. People don't cook for themselves. I mean, I don't. I mean, sometimes I do. I've started cooking for myself more. Especially like right now, I'm mostly just eating like vegetarian soups, and then sometimes I spring for a fish and I fry it or something if I can. And then on my pizza day, I just have a vegetarian version of my pizza with 4 cheese to make it tasty. Joe for 15 says, what's with this stupid argument with Graf on Post? All I saw was him being retarded and telling people to leave his site if you're concerned about how he handles your data. What's a good alternative instance with Chudbuds killing itself? I just talked about that. Free speech extremist, I think, has a high reputation. The Gleasonator instance is also pretty good, I think. Gleason's like a proper old school liberal. And wait for kiwifirms.cc, I guess. I wish I could announce like Gab. But Gab gave up on the Fediverse because anime avatars bullied him to suicide. C. Grunty for 4 says blondes, redheads, brunettes, or blacks. I guess to refer to hair color. I have never had a hair preference ever. Maybe when I was a teenager, I might have liked artificial colors, but not anymore. I see that as a sign of mental illness. I appreciate all hair colors. I'm so happy that the European species has so much diversity, and I appreciate it all. Why would you ask that? For 2 says, fuck, marry, kill, Brittany Venti, shoe on head, Emily Yukas. Not playing this. I apologize, but it's just not happening. I'm not doing that. I don't want to be like Ralph. Come on now. Especially for $2. Come on now. My limit has been raised to $4,000 for debasing myself. Poll, it just feels mean. It just feels nasty and Ralph-like. I'm not up for it. Sorry. Anonymous for 5 says, I'm going to miss the stream today, but I'm taking my nephew and niece to Mario World for Mario Day today. Anyways, I hope you cover the 2,600 emails of hate leak because I wasn't about to read all that. Anyways, happy Mario Day, bing, bing, woohoo. I saw this tweet or super chat because it was before the stream. There is something about German anti-trans legislation that was leaked. It was leaked by that one gross Swiss troon. I don't know what it's about. I assume it's just another smear campaign to try and get conservative people out of office in democratic countries. Quote unquote democratic countries. Devious Day for 2 says, it was 90 degrees Fahrenheit in May for me last year when you lived in Florida. Would you consider May to be hot? I think May is hot. You got your money's worth for that. Romeo for 2 says, I have a deposition to prepare and your stream and you beating your lawsuits makes me more confident. Here's a token of appreciation. Then he says, I screwed up that attachment you got clipped. I screwed up that attachment. Here is a more pixelated version. Also, what font do you use for the Mad at the Internet? The Mad at the Internet font is Verlag. I got it from the game Firewatch, whose title also uses the font Verlag. Yes, I did pay for a license to obtain my font Verlag. The font we use for the Kiwi Farms is Quattrocinco, and I've also used the font Lydia before. So this is a comic that he's drawn. It says Kiwi Farms by Joshua Moon. It's in the style of Dilbert. The first one is the Slobbermutt walking past a picture of Ralph, and then a picture of, not even sure who that is, and then a picture of Pipkins and a troon. Wait, the other picture is turning into a troon as he walks past, so I guess it's like a trooning out. And then Pipkins, and then I noticed the pictures are getting bigger and bigger. There's also a picture of what appears to be Auschwitz. And then I say, we have to talk about you faggots not being able to figure out thumbnails. That's perfect. That's a perfect Dilbert cartoon. Unfortunately, you have doomed me to being vaccinated. I must now follow the path of Scott Adams and take all my booster shots because it is a quote unquote the most logical thing to do. Thank you though. Wilbert Wheatley for 2111 says eclectic songs used in soundtracks you might like: Civilian by Y Oak, Run by Sir Sly, 15 Minutes by Mike Kroll, Robot Tune by French Class, Funky Sunday by Adhesive Wombat, Spinning You Over by Reiko. I have not heard of any of those songs. I am looking for more instrumentals to play for the intro, so if these are instrumentals, I will like them probably and probably use them. Thank you. Anonymous for 5 says, love your streams, Josh. You should check out Flicker by Calamine. The singer is the same woman who did the C-Labs opening. I definitely know that. Fun fact, she now teaches elementary kids to play ukulele. That is fucking adorable. Okay. Sure, I will check that out. Thank you. Striga for 2 says, hey Josh, it's a bit unrelated, but could you in short explain what's the spending power of $1,000 in the United States currently? I've started wondering about when Zanny Pig was talking about having $40K in the bank like the guy. I don't know. I haven't been to the United States since like 2017. I think purchasing power is down across the board though. I think the main thing is like food and rent are getting higher. But that's like everywhere. Electricity, I think, is also getting higher. I don't know if that's the same in the U.S. You could buy a lot of drugs with 1K, says Cameron Thomas. You can buy 2 PS5s. $1,000 won't get you much unless you're a drug addict. There is definitely inflation. I've heard people complaining about inflation. It's hard for me to compare though. I know that eggs were like a huge thing that people were like really freaking out about for a while because the price of eggs went so high. Anonymous for 5 says, no joke, there's an actual tool company called American Mutt Tools. That's cute. Amerimutt is like a thing though. Americans call themselves mutt. Like, yeah, I'm a mutt. I'm 1/5 Irish, 1/5 English, 1/5 Scandinavian, 1/5 West German, and 1/5 Italiano. That's like every American ever that you ever talk to. It is what it is for 5 says, hey, quick cultural question since you're Italiano. Speaking of Italianos, oh my God. Me, moi, the butt himself. I'm going to do a food review on this ravioli that claims to be authentic Italian product. The only problem, it's from a can. Will the mafia kill me for eating this? Thanks. Ravioli in a can. It sounds gross on its face, but maybe it's good. You'll never know until you try. You should super chat $5 next week and tell me if your ravioli was good. My good friend. Samad Al-Hayadi for 20 says, "Hey Josh, love your work. I'm going to listen to you as I fall asleep." Gross. Gay nigga. I know a lot of people do that. I shouldn't be too mean. I have a weird autistic voice that people like for some reason. There's something soothing about your nasally voice. Do your boy a solid and don't make any noise too abrupt. Well, until the Ralph hollering, you should be all set. Thank you, though. Dandy for 10 says, if PPP and Godwinson wanted to do a reconciliation stream and you were asked to be the moderator, would you? Big ups, Richard Moon, a.k.a. JCM92. No. I don't want to deal with either of them. My big issue, I can enjoy Godwinson's performative elements. My issue is that they both do play pretend. They both are like all about the kayfabe and the wrestling shit. It's like I don't want to waste my time like trying to reconcile two people who are both hiding behind like a facade. And it's like two fakers trying to outfake each other. That doesn't sound like a good time to me, and I don't want to get involved in their shit. Gleb for 15 says, "Hi Josh, thanks for making my Fridays better as always. Can I get an F for having to put down my doggo today after spending 13 years of its life with me on my family farm? Also sneed and feed. I'm getting the animal messages, but I do desire to spread cheerfulness and joy and love. Press F, chat." It is sad, but 13 years is pretty good for a dog, especially if it's a big one. So be positive. Be a positive Polly. Anonymous for 2 says, "Hey Noel, just want to ask, I'm very new to Dota 2, but not MOBAs in general, and wanted to ask how I get into the game and learn. Should I read, watch guides, or just lurk more in the game? What's a great way to start as a new player to the game? Thanks again." Geez. For someone just getting into it, you should probably watch streamers, and I would recommend a very simple support. Crystal Maiden is an obvious choice. Shadow Shaman is a fun choice. Lion is a fun choice. I feel like I'm missing someone. Lich King is Ancient Apparition. Those are all good choices. Or maybe Earthshaker. It really depends on what you like to do. I would actually here's how I got into the game. You ready? Archer and Sniper, Drow and Sniper are good. Just do random. I mean, honestly, that's what I did when I first started playing. Do random until you figure out every single character's like spells and how they work. And if you ever are in a game and someone completely stomps it and you're like genuinely tilted about how strong that hero was, play them. Play the hero for a couple games, even in Turbo, and see what items and play styles counter that hero. Because usually if you're like super frustrated and you're getting pub stomped, it's because you don't know how that hero's kit works, and you don't know what to do. And then you'll find out playing against other people who are better as that character, you're going to get fucking stomped, and you'll get better at the game that way. Or don't, and live a happy life. That's exactly right. Don't play Dota. That's my advice. Deputy Dog Crapper for 5 says, "In this bird you cannot change. Keep up the good work, Josh." Thank you. There's a story behind the intro. It's Gator's favorite song apparently. So every time Godwinson goes off on Gator, he plays Freebird in the background to try and traumatize him against his favorite song, which is pretty funny. Schizo Dilbert for 2 says, #FreeBew. Maybe in 2 weeks. We'll see. We more like weeness for 4 says, "Thoughts on the new South Park episode? I have not seen it. Sorry to disappoint. I might catch up on all the new seasons of South Park eventually." Seekalother for 10 says, "Disclaimer, I am tech illiterate. How could you convince would you convince otherwise someone who thinks that Chudbuds.lol being hacked makes the Fediverse a poor alternative to social media?" Same way that you describe it. You just say, like, if shitty email service X gets hacked, you don't say, "Oh my God, we should stop using email." I mean, maybe you should. Emails is shit, but yeah, it's one email server got hacked out in the world. Nobody decided to stop using email because Hillary Clinton got her server compromised. This shouldn't be the same. Anonymous for 422 says, thanks for recommending Industrial Society and its future. It's opened my eyes to a lot of problems in the modern world and the root cause, as well as getting me to wonder what substitutes a real goal for myself. Glad you liked it. I don't know if I have a very limited number of book suggestions, but I should read more. I feel like a dummy because I don't read more. But the last book I tried to read was I want to say Revolt Against the Modern World by Julius Evola, and it was bad. It was not convincing at all, and I didn't make it through more than a couple chapters of it. It was the one where he just tries to argue for monarchy the entire time. And I really was underwhelmed by the book, and after that I stopped reading. I stopped my reading bench. Pastor Sneed for 10 says, greeting Josh. Today I will share with you one of my favorite Bible verses. Bow your heads, chat. Proverbs 18:7. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. Amen. For the many cows of your pasture, may they never learn. It was God's plan. God's plan. God's plan. Shit. It really does feel like that sometimes, don't it? Dixon B. Cox for 10 says, hey Josh, we did a winter garden for the first time this time around. Spinach, garlic, and green onion. Finally got to harvest the garlic. Check this shit out. Planning on more next year. You have fucked up the attachment, my boy. I apologize. If you're in the celebrity internet chat, you can post it there, and I will try to look at it. I see what the start of the URL is, so I know what to look out for. Niggy Tardust for 2 says, after watching an episode of Maddie, I had a dream that you were a pet hamster that you walked around on a tiny, or you had a pet hamster that you walked around on a tiny leash. Do whatever you want with this information. I had a dream last night. I swear to God, this is true. That for whatever reason, people were talking about how the Russians had taken Bakhmut in the Ukraine war. And I got up out of bed and I actually checked the map. I'm like, did they actually take that? And they hadn't. Hopefully no hamsters were harmed in that. Eat dirt, drink bleach for 5 says, it's a German name. Okay, thank you. I used to hate Inglourious Bastards because it didn't have much action, but then I got to appreciate the character interactions through YouTube clips. I'm so curious why you hate it. Elaborate when. The first part is good. When they're out of the farm, it's just that the guy, Tyler Durden, I forget the name of his actor. He cannot do that accent for shit. It's like intentionally bad. I'm convinced it's supposed to be like camp. It just sounds like shit. And then, like, there's that scene where they execute they have the 2 Nazi captives. Number one, they're all Jewish. Yeah, right. As if one of the most attractive men in the world is Jewish, and they have 2 Nazis, and or rather, soldiers of the Wehrmacht, and he points to the Iron Cross on his chest and he says, "What's this for?" He says, "I got this for bravery, or for courage." So he just shoots him, and then he goes to the next guy who doesn't have the medal, and he says, "Okay, tell us where the people are at, or where the attack is coming from." And then he divulges the information, and it's supposed to be like, oh, they're weeding out the ones that won't tell, so they can get the information they need. But it's just kind of like, wow, these guys are monsters, but I'm supposed to be rooting for them. That's the issue. That's the contradiction. Is that the Jewish guerrilla group that you're supposed to be rooting for are the most unlikable fucking cunts on the face of the planet. And then the whole scene where it's like, this Jewish bitch is killing you, and then there's like everyone's like on fire and shit. I'm like, wow, this is like pornography for Jewish people. This is like really weird revenge porn, and I feel dirty having watched this. I feel like I watched somebody's private pornography collection, and it's like, yeah, this is gross. I didn't like it. And Brad Pitt can go fuck himself in his accent shit. Tanuki Nitpicker for 422 says, been thinking about the last stream and the transmesis sounds a bit clunky. So meso is usually a prefix, i.e. misogyny and misophonia. Therefore, I nominate mesotranny as our rallying call. I'm a proud mesotranist. That's true. It is usually a prefix. I didn't think about that. Mesotranny also sounds weird, though. The next Council of Racism, we'll have to sort all this out. We need some Greek and Latin literary language experts to help us navigate this. Anonymous for 2 says, Japanese design is good. Cool machines. I was over there recently on a study abroad trip, and my roommate was there for the exact reason you'd accuse someone of. Reminds me of ILJ. I'm just so glad I had no dorm experience. Machines, though. I mean, Japan is cool. It is like a totally different world. It's very different, and there's not many places on the world that aren't mutilated with westernization these days. It's a cool trip. I would never want to live there, though. A question mark for 211 says, God damn it, Josh, you didn't read my last 2 messages. Is it because I sent them in green mode? Anyways, I'll just repeat my question. How do you pronounce it, over or over? I can pronounce it correctly now. I've rehabilitated myself. I'm sorry if I'm not reading your messages. I try to read everything. Twinkle Tart for $100 says, know any good Minecraft mods? Absolutely not. Just play it vanilla. Don't even fucking bother. That's my advice to you, my dear Twinkle Tart, whose money I wish to protect with my genuine response. Thank you. Now, our Niggy Tardust for 2 says, I see you have raised the minimum donation amount to $2. It appears that 0.5% of your particular blood type is slowly increasing. Well, Goyam, listen up. There's inflation. We've got expenses. There's just so much. Surely you can understand why I need the $3 minimum for the super chat. Bear with me here. We're all in this dire economy together. Anonymous for 4 says, Pyramid Head in Silent Hill 2 is supposed to symbolize the main character's guilt over what he did to his dying wife. In Hospice, Pyramid Head kills himself after Jane finally comes to terms with what he did and to move on. Something Troons will never be able to do. I did not know that. I've never played the game, so I don't know the timeline of when they like stab each other and stuff. But yeah, I know that I think that the Silent Hill game that's coming out is like a rework of this. It's like a they're like fixing it, right? They're like redoing the graphics or something, or they're remaking it entirely. So there's a lot of concern about what a Silent Hill game would look like coming out this era. Spoilers. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to spoil it. It's a very old game, though. I mean, I don't think that spoils it. I actually know the ending. I think I've watched like a speedrun of Silent Hill 2 for some reason. So, I don't know. Sorry if I spoiled it for anybody. What does the numbers mean, Mason for 2 says, hello, Mr. Chaff. I would like to inform you that the numbers at the end of Nick D9393 is probably his postal code. The postal code 9393 is a small area in New Zealand called Otago, not to be confused with the Japanese otaku culture. My dude, he is from Ohio. I think that 1993 is actually his year of birth. Nice try, though. Actually, it said 1997 in his trans dating profile, so who knows? I don't know what the 93 is for. Jack Ladd for 4 says, this is all Weimar, Germany again, with all of this degeneracy, but we all know the cure. I did post lyrics to that Anthracite song I played as an outro a while ago on my Joshua Moon channel. So I would actually suggest to listen to that if you want like a white pill song. It's pretty good. Just search Kali Yuga Anthracite is how you would spell it like in English. And take a listen. It's a good song. Anonymous for 5 says, wait, sorry, I missed one. Anonymous for 2 says, there's something to be said about Troons trying to claim gross and disturbing monsters as their own. They try to claim Silent Hill monsters, and I remember that Troon Freak, who did the Bloodborne PSX fan game, say the Eldritch monsters are trans and various genders. I mean, that's what they appeal to the most. It's like, oh, that's an Eldritch horror just like me. They're oozing pus just like me. Women are scared of them just like me. Anonymous for 5 says, hey Josh, you mentioned 2 weeks ago that you're doing Lent. Have you considered exploring any Orthodox churches during your stay in Eastern Europe? This isn't a gay therapy advice, I swear. Many thanks for your entertaining streams while I work. My aversion to Orthodoxy is that if I move back to the US, there's basically 0 Orthodox churches. Unless you go to like Northeast and you go to a Greek Orthodox church. I just feel like it's a LARP. It's like, I don't know. I'm not Eastern European. I feel like it's converting to Buddhism or Shintoism or something. Like, I am a proud Nepalese African American, and therefore, there are certain Western denominations that I have more affiliation with via blood. But I don't know. I don't know if it's a stupid hang up or what. First name, middle initial for 2 says, my fedora is stronger than my refugee. Did you beat your refugee to death with your metal fedora? You might not want to announce that on the internet. The FBI might look into that. Ralph and Josh Enjoyer for 4 says, is it just me, or is Ralph's daily obsession over the 6-hour Transformer Fun goal a new phenomenon? Back when it was winning every day in 2022, I don't think he was as concerned for some reason. When did he introduce this? He's a slave to the goal now. So he's referring to, there is a little donation goal every day that he resets. The goal was originally like $650, I think, for him to stream 6 hours instead of 5 hours. And if he didn't, but he always met that. So it was just like a nice little thing to encourage people to donate. But so he would always stream for 6 hours. And then people stopped meeting the goal, and he started reducing the goal to lower and lower amounts, and now it's like $300. His obsession is that he's not meeting it. So he's trying to strike the balance of, he doesn't want to set it too low and then not get the amount of money that he needs to produce his, his habits. But he doesn't want to set it too high and make it seem like a lofty goal not even worth contributing to. Like if I started a fundraiser on the forum and I set a goal at like $10 million, people would be like, I'm not donating to that. That's stupid. We're not gonna get $10 million. But then again, if I set it to like a super low amount, like $1,000, then I'm not gonna get, what I could have. So he's trying to strike that balance and he's tweaking it every day, and that's his obsession. He's trying to min-max his money. Because he's not organically meeting what he would prefer to. Muhammad was a pedophile for 211 says, when you call the Prophet Muhammad a pedophile, Muslims. And then there is a video. Let's see what this is. Probably exactly. That is exactly what happens. Thank you. Anonymous for 4 says, Infrared Haas isn't a bread tube nobody. He's a prime lolcow and my personal hero.
Well, you're just talking like a Mongoloid.
I don't give a fuck. I am a Mongoloid. In my heart, I'm a Mongoloid. That is what I am. We are a horde. That is what we are. Yes, we are that. We are 100% that.
That's not something to be proud of.
It is something to be proud of, because the Mongols are the ones who created civilization. And you created nothing but barbarism. You're the fucking barbarians. You destroyed the treasures of mankind. The Mongols only united it. What the fuck do you know about civilization? What the fuck do you know about pride? What the fuck do you have to be proud of? Except looting, genociding, and destroying the cultures and peoples and wealth of this world. What the fuck do you know, Cans cuck?
Well, you're the one here chimping out, so...
I am chimping out, bitch, because I'm a fucking human being, and you're a little soy boy cuck, little bitch. You don't know who the fuck I am.
No, I see you. I think you're a Mongoloid. That's what you...
I am a Mongoloid, you're right. It is what I am, and I'm proud of being that.
Well, it's an anthropological term. It doesn't actually mean Mongol.
Oh, so what's your fucking point? You ugly, disgusting, fucking barbarian, smelly piece of shit. You want to talk racism? I can be way more racist than you, Angloid. What fucking civilizations did Angloids ever fucking have? It needed the Romans to fuck all of you in your ass to give you any civilization. You never had any of your own. You want to be racist? I could be way more racist. You want to talk shit about Asians? What the fuck do you have on Asia, huh?
I have nothing on it.
You have nothing, because you're a Can's cuck, bitch.
Pretty good. The video ends with the message, if Canada sank in the ocean, who would notice? Probably truckers driving from Alaska to Washington. They would notice. Nobody else would, though. Very nice. Maybe I'll look into him. Who knows? No promises. Thank you. Anonymous for 20 says, hey, Jersh, I saw your YouTube channel. You have a playlist called Best of the Worst without Josh. Why the Josh hate? He's not even half as bad as Jack, who only got worse after he went sober after an alleged domestic a few years back. I find Jack tolerable. I know a lot of people don't like Jack. I think he's fine in little doses. I cannot stand even a single sentence from Josh the Wizard. I really fucking hate him. I think that Jack has like a whimsical retardedness to him where I can appreciate, like, I don't know, his perspectives and like his giddy. Josh is like the opposite. He's so joyless and all his laughter seems fake. Like, oh, people are laughing now, I should find this funny. But he never seems to be into it. Jack is too into it. That's a good way to put it. Josh is pretending to be into it, but is like a stuck-up piece of shit. And Jack is like too into it, and it comes across kind of annoying and kind of like he does, like a little kid who's tagging along with his big brother, and you don't like him. Even though he's been there for so long, he still has that kind of personality to him. But yeah, Jack can be very funny. Jack can add to conversations. Josh is just fucking annoying. I hate him. Thank you. Taco Bell for 10 says, is Taco Bell an official sponsor of the Kill Stream? The other night I was watching Ralph's show and he apparently added a Taco Bell dong to his soundboard. He just set it off whenever the show was getting boring. Is he doing a Pavlovian study? No. He's trying to inject noise and life into his dead stream of watching other people do shit. That's actually interesting. It's very sad. Thank you. Hacksleet for 4 says, duty, freedom, loners, or bandits? I don't know what that's a reference to. Stalker. I've never played Stalker. I apologize. Freedom sounds the most basest, though. Bandits have that good song that everybody likes, though. Eat Dirt, Drink Bleach for 2 says, I poured L'Oreal kid shampoo in my eyes because it said no more tears and now I'm blind. Time to sue. I bet you if you did that, you wouldn't go blind. If you are blind, you should definitely sue, though. Lance Knepper for 2 says, Josh celebrating eating disorders that will 100% kill innocent victims, but absolutely sees a little violent pedophilia goblin gets bonked on the head. Oh, you should fucking kill yourself. This is one of the Kyrex guys bitching that I didn't feature his thread. That's sad. You paid me money to whine about your bitch ass fucking thread not getting featured. I can't even believe that. Robo Fusted for 2 says, Thug Shaker now. No, thank you. Anime for 5 says, from last week, you could love Code Gay Ass. It prominently features pizza. The entire production was funded by Pizza Hut, so they were required to show the logo several times an episode. One of the main characters constantly eats pizza and attests to its quality. That's fascinating. I did not know that Western food companies sponsored anime productions. Huh. I don't know what it's about, though, and I'm not interested because it's anime and it'll turn me into a gay weeb lover. Kolya Dante for 15 says, Pete's put his phone number into a dating website and instantly got flooded with calls. We're all gonna make it, bros. Wow, that must be that dude's wife from earlier in the super chats. He can find the silver lining in everything. Mr. Man for 2111 says, destroy ad terminals, disconnect ad terminals, roundhouse kick ad terminals into the concrete, slam dunk an ad terminal into the trash can, sledgehammer filthy ad terminals, defecate into ad terminals power supply units, launch ad terminals into the sun. I totally fucking agree. I hate ads so much. And if they, God forbid, a company try and force me, if they actually manage to defeat my ad blocker and force me to turn it off, I literally write up, I try to find their CEO's email address and I write them an email and I say, you motherfucking piece of shit, disable this fucking garbage. I swear to, I can't do that because my boy in Serbia will get mad at me, but I like try to find high ranking executives who have email addresses with the company and I write them a fucking email and I say, you stupid motherfucker, turn this shit off. I don't want to fucking deal with you. I do. I go full. I don't care. I'll find, like, I'll do whatever it takes. Don't you dare force me to watch an advertisement. I'll lose my shit. Hitler Megadoser for 10 says, since Pete's apparently wanted to Ghibli and snuggle, I want to know if you've seen any Ghibli I don't know if it's Ghibli or Ghibli. I think Ghibli. If you've seen any Ghibli movies, the general audience Disney films, you must have seen one. And Miyazaki hates anime just like you. You can even watch Porco Rosso and get anime Ralph. I have. I do like Spirited Away. I've seen some other ones. I saw the one where there's like a fish. I just remember that all of them have like gratuitous panty shots of kids, and it's like I don't know why he does this, why he finds this so fascinating in a kids movie. There's always like an upskirt or something. It's like even that shit. It's like it's just a Japanese obsession with like children and panties. Yeah, they do, and it's like you're watching it like, oh, I'm being exposed to a Japanese man's fetish again, and it ruins the enjoyment of the film. Big Sneed for 211 says 2-seat Lamau 2-seat. What? Oh, the plane ride. It's like what's the joke? What am I missing out on here? The Chantel plane. Okay, I got you. Thank you. Burger Mutt for 2 says, Jerish, I last purchased a 9-foot long commercial printer for $200 at a government auction. They sell new for like $25,000. I've seen listings sold on eBay for about $4,000. Help, I could leave the money on the table. How do I ship a 500-pound printer? My boy, you better find somebody who has a truck and is willing to go pick up a 500-pound printer with you. And you better bring some beer because he's going to expect some when you're done loading that shit off the truck. Colia Dante for 15 says, worth noting that passphrases are vulnerable to specialist dictionary attacks, which significantly reduce their entropy. Also worth noting that I've never heard of an individual user account of any site being brute force, so not priority for non-admins. You should increase the entropy of your passphrase by using capital letters and numbers and punctuation. Like if you're using a specialist dictionary brute force method that involves like a list of common words, it usually only tests for like lowercase. So just use an actual sentence with punctuation. That's what I'd use. Multiple sentences. I use like proper like paragraphs for my most important passwords. It literally takes me like 10 seconds to enter in a password for like my password vault the first time. Numbers for 2 says, me, a poor fag, donating $2, one more than usual in spirit of Lenten almsgiving. To Joshua Chudbun Moon, he's awesome and he'll read my super chat. I will indeed. Thank you very much for the $2. I appreciate it. Ludwig for 5 says, I made a YouTube short when Jim added you to the mailing list. Big ups. Let's see.
Oh, you're going to love this, chat. Let's have a chat with Baldo. Hello, do you need to ask a question? I do have a question. I will not fuck dogs. My wife will not fuck dogs. Yiffin' hell. Oh, they want a bunch of information. Okay, well, I know who to send this to. What is Josh's email? I'm on to you, furries. Too smart for that. P.S. I love anime. Good day. There we go. I'm pretty sure Josh doesn't actually watch my Saturday streams, so nobody tell him. The idea that he's going to get an email from a company that makes a ball dildo asking why he's screaming animal fucker at them and talking about anime? What the fuck? Why is this company emailing me? Baldo, I don't know what the fuck that is. That's amusing to me.
Wow. That's crazy. That's content from beyond the grave. Even though Jim has died, rest in peace, and being converted into potatoes as we speak. I have received a joke from him 3 months after the fact. I can't even believe it. I actually thought I thought people were fucking with me. That's pretty good. Thank you. I'm paying Josh for tech support. Lamau for 2 says, Josh, how the fuck do I make Bitwarden automatically update my accounts? Currently, I have to copy its random password to the clipboard and manually create an entry. I have the browser extension and app and disabled my browser's built-in password manager. Yeah, it's not as good as LastPass at detecting when you've created an account and adding the entry. Sometimes I have to add it manually too. but you can't use LastPass because they don't encrypt shit properly. Sorry, buddy. It is kind of annoying at times, but maybe other ones are better. I don't know. Apparently, KeyPass is actually used by the Swiss government. So if you're not happy with that, maybe try a different one. And I know that you can import passwords into all the password managers and shit. Cyborg Weevil says, "Hey Josh, sorry the Cryax retards bullied you. Here's some cash as compensation. May your shiny hunts be fruitful." What shiny hunts? I don't play Pokemon. I appreciate it though. It sucks when like a thread is like openly hostile for like the most retarded fucking reasons. There's a couple threads like that, like the DSP board as a whole. Just like calm the fuck down. Anonymous for 3 says, "Can we please stop using the term A-logging and start calling it Christorian Xing or pick Viper selling?" No, A-log is still around, and it's important that the entire internet continuously remind him that he once compared Chris Chan to Saddam Hussein, favorably to Saddam Hussein, saying that what Chris did to autism is potatoes to what Saddam has done in the Gulf War. He must be reminded of that fact for the remainder of his natural life. Amen. Niggler for 5 says, "I don't know how Ashley does it. When I ate less than 1,000 calories a day and rode bike, I could feel brain function declining. How do you eat just 1 apple a day, get no protein, stay alive?" You don't. Very poorly. She's basically a zombie. You do not want to be Ashley Isaacs. Her, she literally has holes in her brain at this point. She's barely alive. If she ate real food, she would die as a result. That's not a joke. You cannot go from like hardcore anorexia, bulimia, to eating food again. You will actually die because your system can no longer digest. Haramburger for 2 says, "Good work, Josh. All podcast objectives completed. Press the button on the mule and we'll send you the drop pod to pick you up. Drop pod arrived. We'll call back the mule. Drop pod departing in T-5 minutes. Clock is ticking, Slaughter Mutt." I got my scout upgrade, and I think I played some of the anniversary objectives, but I don't think I completed all of them yet. I don't know if the anniversary is still going on. I would like to get the party hat, though. I missed the party hat the first time around. I could have gotten a nice party hat, and I've never forgotten that. 20 years later, I'll get my party hat, goddammit. Pope Urban for 10 says, "Outro song suggestion, Nazi Halo, Jack Off Jill. Also check this out." And there's a YouTube link. Oh, my God.
Okay, so there we have Sneed's feed and seed, but you really have to think about this. It has what you need to create and sustain life. It's like, how would you say, an analogous manifest of the...
Do you remember when Jordan B. Peterson was properly voice trained by ML years ago? He was like the first one where you could make Jordan B. Peterson clips. And there's that really funny clip about you whip out your dick and she whips out hers. That is chaos. That is unpredictable. And now you're in the belly of the beast. Like that quote, it was machine. And he sued. He threatened to sue to take down that site. And now nobody can stop him. Nobody can stop him anymore. Master Belayaga Altus for $14.88 says, "What are your thoughts on Patrick going swimming with his $800 phone and possibly paying $600 to recover data of the child saying he's a fat faggot with bitch tits? Thanks for using your terminal autism to keep the site up online, by the way. Type 1 to RKS." Do not know what that means. What RKS means. God, I know what people were speculating that he would have on his phone after a nice trip to Mexico. I shall not repeat such things in polite company because the stalker childs are known to be a little bit inventive with their claims. But it is funny that he has destroyed his phone, yes. Thank you. Never Forget for 2 says, "Oh, why Slobbermutt, there is a child with a horse and admitted gender identity issues and a love of young girls for a mother-father. No one's asked it lately. What is poor Rosie's chances? Literally 0. Unless Ralph dies and May abandons her with Harry, her chances sit roughly between not a hell's chance or a snowball's chance in hell and nothing. No chance at all." Ruggy for 5 says, "Gator, you are so painfully unfunny. The fact you admitted to everyone that you only stayed by Ralph's side to spite Noel was beyond embarrassing and cringe. Please go away." I didn't even hear that, but I can believe it. That is pretty fucking sad. I'm so nice. I don't try to mislead people. I don't try to gay out people. I tell people the truth, what I actually think, and I can back up what I think with at least a little bit of solid reason. And everyone treats me like I'm just evil, and everything I say is like an emotional reflex or some shit. It's like, No, I'm not. I'm literally not trying to trick people. I am literally trying to do what I think is right. And I never get credit, Chad. I never get credit. Pony for 5 says, Zidane was the smartest of the Ralph cohorts. Gator should try to follow suit. No one can be Jim, and trying to be Jim makes you a piedique, which means faggot. That's true. Nobody can be Jim. Yeah, he should have done what Zidane did. Zidane just left. He realized after the Holocaust debate stream that shit was going bad, and he just left. Smart lad. He was Asian. He had that Mongol blood. He knew what was coming. Anonymous for 4 says, the advertisement dystopia is worse than you even know. I was mentoring Zoomers at a magnet school that was basically funded by defense contractors. There was an unbelievable amount of branding plastered everywhere. Even the students pick up on the J influence. Schools funded by defense contractors. That is pretty fucking dystopian. Yeah, that's pretty nightmarish. Like, I would admit. I could never imagine putting a kid through like any kind of school. Homeschooling is the way. Mr. Man for 1056 says, you sure do have a knack for making the most interesting of friends on the uppercase I internet. What friends did I make this time? I don't think who are my friends? I feel threatened by this message. I don't know what you're referring to. Thank you, though. Anonymous for 2 says, Christ, you can really tell Ralph smashed the shit because he does the weird drunk exhale thing whenever he finishes speaking. Take a shot every time you hear him drunk exhale in the clip. Guaranteed you get as wasted as him in one threaded viewing. Yeah, I mean, he does that thing where he just like sighs and like grumbles like, yeah, that's what I thought, bitch. I ain't trying to embarrass you. You did that yourself. Like constant. That's like his entire stream. I can't even hate watch it. Eat dirt, drink bleach for 2 says, the baby can't talk and she already knows she's stuck between 2 predators with nowhere to crawl to. I guess May is the better option. For now, at least. For now. Angry Watch for 5 says, to be honest, the Ralph stuff loses a bit of its humor once you realize a baby girl is having to live with a drug-addicted alcoholic who forces her into a car seat for 100 hours and a plane for 20-plus hours. Yeah. The kid stuff is pretty not funny, but I'm not going to stop laughing. I refuse. Anonymous for 2 says, poor kid, Jesus Christ. Thoughts on Frederik swimming with his $1,800 phone and breaking it? I already have pointed out that is quite funny. And it amuses me greatly. And I hope that Samsung does not give him a new phone just because he cried about it. Ethan Oliver Ralph to his daughter for 5 says, we can just holler over each other all day. Know what I mean? Understand, boy. Thank you. Funny silly feller for 5 says, Josh, when are we getting new plants? I've been anxiously awaiting the return of the plant updates and total aphid death. I already said I've germinated them. When they start sprouting, I will plant them and I'll probably show some pictures of them as they grow. I've already planted my garlic. Anonymous for 20 says, when will you finally come to your senses and restart the 4 Horsemen streams with Godwinson Coach and another fat man to replace PPP? Greetings from Brazil. I hate neighbors and Worski. It is tempting. I don't know what fat man you'd find to replace PPP, though. I just wish Godwinson would come to the light. He resists my love. And he's literally, I can tell when he talks about me, he is just waiting. He's waiting for something to happen or for me to fuck up in some way that he can pounce on me for. And I can feel the tension. I can feel the anger in his voice. He threatens me and he says, I'm giving you the benefit of a doubt. Don't let me down. You know what I'll do if you let me down. I'm like, okay, buddy, don't threaten me. Don't threaten me. But I can just tell it's very awkward. And I was like, I have zero idea what I have done to make him so upset at me. So I don't know. I would not want to get involved. 2017 QA spammer for 10 says, you threw a Molotov cocktail into a fireworks factory with that homoerotic Godwinson rant. I hope you know what you're doing. I always know what I'm doing. I'm a mastermind. Haas Delgado for 25 says, my instance shitpost.cloud has open registrations for anyone looking for a new place and doesn't want to use Post. Okay. Haas Delgado's instance is shitpost.cloud. Cloud is the TLD. Shitpost.cloud. I hope it's not shit. I hope you don't have halalicon on it. Cyrax for 2 says Cyrax. Thank you. Lemons for 5 says, hey Josh, or hi Josh, gardening looks fun. What is the most entry level vegetable other than tomato? You're asking the wrong person, boy. I am entry level as it gets. There is a mutt looking dude on YouTube that I follow who is pretty interesting. I don't know. Can I find his? It's called like Epic Gardening, I want to say. Yeah, Epic Gardening is one, and then there's a really, really funny. Wow, if I just search gardening, one of them is a topless woman called The Naked Gardener. And this is apparently a YouTube channel. She just gardens naked, and that's her thing. I am looking for the Australian guy who's like an Alex Jones, Joe Rogan conspiracy theorist. I think it's Self-Sufficient Me. Is that right? Self-Sufficient Me. He's good. I like him a lot. He looks like Alex Jones. Watch them. They have videos about gardening. Announcer 2 says Discord is updating their terms of service to allow them to record voice calls and chats, and they just announced that they're going to implement more AI stuff into the application. I, for one, welcome our Skynet overlords. Twitter trainees got real mad too. Yeah, I mean, Discord is 1000% compromised. If you use Discord at this point, you are fucking stupid, period. Crusaders for 10 says, Jersh, why did you abandon the high dollar trap card audio gimmick so quickly? There's gold in them hills, boys. Also redheads, but also chinky ladies. High dollar trap card audio gimmick. I'm sorry, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. You gotta make a post or email me or something. Bananas for 5 says, hi, Internet Daddy Josh. I sent you a cool song if you haven't found outro music yet. I do have outro music planned, I think. Thank you, though. I'll listen to that with the other songs when I get around to it. Tired looking face, I guess, for 20 says, how do you feel about this? Then there's a YouTube link. I am never going to get through Super Chats today. Soy Tube Kids. Okay, I'll put this on the stream and just show you. There's this Soy Jack party people are now making Soy Jack videos using YouTube for kids, and they literally get like tens of thousands of views because of how the algorithm works. I will just show this real quick. So this is on YouTube. This is their current trolling up. 5 Little Chuddies, it's called.
5 little chuddies jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, no more chuddies jumping on the bed. 4 little chuddies jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head.
We live in a nightmare world, in case you didn't know. Thank you. Dainty's Inferno for $100 says, haha, how's the weather where you're at? Lol. Smiley face. The weather has become very hot as I have just watched 5 Little Chuddies, and now hell has risen up and the sky is on fire. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. I'm quite literally in Dainty's Inferno now. Cole for 5 says, I took a recommendation and listened to the whole dialogue tree for Kaiser from New Vegas. He only talked philosophy once, and it was materialistic dialectics. He wasn't that convincing for fascism. I think you have rose-colored goggles over Fallout New Vegas. There's also the huge spiel about culture and assimilation and how he killed the weak and enslaved people. I don't know. I don't remember what I said about Fallout New Vegas, but I listened. I love that guy's voice and the way he spoke. It was very captivating. Maybe not perhaps the writing. I mean, the dialectics was pretty interesting too, but it was a very interesting conversation with him. Tatters for 20 says, smiley face, DDoS retardation. Nice touch. Thank you. I do consider myself very funny. I appreciate it. I'm a broke ass nigga. Bring back the $1 for $2 says, have you heard of the R Fuck Cars subreddit? It's a full of urban cyclist redditors that see that people who drive cars, especially pickup trucks, they want to ban cars for everyone, including people in rural areas. They want everyone to use bus and train. I have, because that thread constantly has fights between cyclists and car chuds, and moderators have to deal with fighting and spurging out there pretty often. Yeah, I hope those people all die. I don't know how else to put it. Cars are so important to freedom, and they're definitely going to try and get rid of cars for people so that we can't just drive and be free like we were for decades under the guise of some environmentalist cause. It's fucking gross. Dixon B. Cox for 10 says, here I have another 10. I just usually send via XMR. I can't recall what image host to use, but oh, these look like this is garlic. I'm not familiar with garlic. God, those look so much like shallots or onions like that. I wonder if the stem is edible. Can you like chop up garlic stem and use it in a pan as like a garnish or something? It does look tasty. Good job. Ice Mexican for 10 says, hey Noel, not sure if this is the right place to put links. Short vid but gold. These are proud anti-service service members protecting Western ideas. Thanks, Nibba. Oh, is this like a Down syndrome person?
Speak for your goddamn self.
Oh, geez.
Leave the rest of us out of it. Slava Ukraini.
Oh my
Heroyam
God.
Slava.
I don't support the invasion, but I also really, really don't support NATO. Near for 2 says, I was kind of hoping you'd skim over the numerous amazing Christorian X drawing some of the funniest shit I've seen in a while. Oh, the fan art. Yeah, he uses like a Speedway Racer character or something as his avatar, and now everyone's cyberbullying him with drawings like this. That was pretty good. Autistic has one as his avatar now. Super Sloth for 10 says, hey Josh, have you ever watched The Venture Brothers? I have. I love The Venture Brothers. That was one of my favorite cartoons on Adult Swim when I still watch cable. Thank you. Genocide CO for 2 says, Desmond is amazing, is quite fixated on trains and planning on becoming a train conductor. Though he dropped the drag persona, he is not pulling out of the LGBT things. Yes, I saw. He is still heavily invested in trans youth or whatever the fuck. That could just be him virtuing as he buys a ticket to Mexico to escape the hell world that is the U.S. We can only hope. Billy Evans for 2 says, Zarek's gang stay winning. Josh breaking YouTube TOS, telling super chatters to kill themselves at the mere mention of the goblin. Josh loves protecting goblins like Ricky Verrick and Hot Wheels, and he can't help it. I hope Neil Mohan kills himself. I don't give a fuck. Chimp Lord for 2 says, hey Josh, on behalf of the Cyrex thread, a vocal minority spurred out. Most don't actually care if it's featured. Please don't let them ruin your view of the thread. I don't know. There are like a couple threads like that where it's like I try to do anything. I try to like post there and it's just like a chimp out every fucking time. It's extremely grating. You know who you are. And then on Otisneed, actually let me check Rumble too. Nothing on Rumble. Good. On Otisneed, LBRT for 5 posts the YouTube being pissed on emoji again. And ... for 10 says shackles. And that's it. That is the super berries. Thank you for those of you who decide to stick through all those. I feel like it gets longer and longer. I might have to come up with a new policy to keep these streams from being not 4 hours long now. I feel bad that the content ratio is being distorted a bit. So, on that note, I am done. I'm tired. My voice is going to give out on me in a second. What did I pick? Oh, I picked a random Russian song that I liked for the outro. Okay. I will see you guys when I see you. I'm planning on doing a special Gumroad video on a subreddit near... that's very bizarre that I think many people will like. Remember to do your privacy checkup. Don't get hacksorted by retards. And I will see you on Friday. Bye-bye.
Просто